ago, but is it the right time to use it? Is this the best time to use it? And it's that level of strategy that makes coaches think 3-4 steps ahead.
The map is Ilios, it's loading up, our casters are ready, so let's send it upstairs. Ilios, Avril, let's get this party started.
Party's long since been started, Puckett, at least for us up here in the casting booth. Got through that first series, now we jump into our second one. Another team is going to be going home. Another team is going to be denied that bump up to 80K and a chance at the grand final. Let's see though. Hey, you're fine.
Hello.
It's a little bit warm in here, so you can leave the jacket off. But yes, let's get ready to go into this one. We have another European squad challenging against some Koreans to see if they can do what ENCE could not.
It's unfortunately another, I think, slightly unlucky map choice coming through for Spacestation. Obviously, the first map is predetermined, and Spacestation, like ENCE, would like to avoid these types of dive maps early on. ZETA Division, they're happy to play it. Fearless has been starting the entire way through. He's going to be on the Winston. Obviously, not going to be on the ball because he doesn't quite have that in his hero pool compared to the Winston. But let's see how these early fights play on through. It's a Brig Anna for ZETA Division. Very standard Alfie. He's been spamming the most Pharah of all DPSs, I think, this whole tournament, right next to Sauna.
All right, well, let's see how they fare. Gonna be playing around, have the teleports to try to get up onto the high ground and maybe contest, but widely, Alpha Yi only gonna have to concern himself against Sparker and Landon. As for now, initial cap looking here for the side of ZETA Division. TP gonna be coming through. That's quickly gonna be dealt with as Alpha Yi already up to 70% towards that opening barrage. Immortality field gonna be cleared out. Fearless gonna be taken down by Hadi on the trade. Trade up, however, gonna be found here at Space Station. Take down Violet, take down Flora, and that's gonna be them actually taking away the first cap.
Minimal losses here for Space Station as well. You definitely take those. ZETA Division, it's definitely gonna have to be a reset here. It's the first cap, first point going over towards the way of Space Station, and Landon and Funny Ash are looking very healthy on the ult charge here as well. It's Finn and Violet very far behind. Not a lot of input on that last opening neutral. Can Alpha Yi get something done? A lot of extra heavy damage. I mean, that part of the reason why Funny Ash and Landon probably are that ahead is because Alpha Yi's rocket splash damage has translated to a lot of healing.
Yeah. Plenty of damage, no confirmed kills. Can come back to bite you, so while you do get your own ultimate available, those ones that are going to be there to try to counteract your barrage can come into play. Fan of the hammer here. Fearless going to be taken down, just diving in way too deep. Doesn't have anybody there to try to escort him forward and keep him alive. Mortality field going to be cleared out. Barrage up over the top. Hadi will fall. Trade on the tanks. Now Sparker going down equalizes the count. And 2 for 2. Respawn here on Fearless. Going to be able to get back a little bit faster. The stick from Flora, stylish, but still the turn from Landon gives him a parting gift headshot to equalize.
Really important there as well. Still 4v4 until Funny Astro goes down. Gigantic kill now. Space Station don't have the backline to work through. I think a tempo beat there could have been really important for Space Station if they wanted to extend a little bit further. As we're about to get into the wheelhouse of ZETA Division ultimates, look at Finn and Violet finally, a little bit later into the map. They're going to get those double support ultimates. Nano online for Fearless, potentially also for Alpha Yi. A rally to contest the sound barrier.
Has to be the recipient. They have to pull the trigger on that ultimate. Beat's going to come out from Funny Astro in response. Deadeye still held here by Spark and try to clear out the point a little bit more. Nano going to be expiring. Rally in the back pocket of Violet as Flora takes a little bit of damage, and Alpha Yi just looks to try to stave them off. 28% going to be built up. The rally now popped from Violet as they look to push forward, and here comes the juggle. Primal Rage, the TP across. Fearless on the hunt, wants to try to isolate and conquer, and will be able to do so as Landon falls, but Violet gets caught up. So going to be a 1-for-1. Support's dead on either side as Finn taking quite a bit of damage, not quite taken down, but Backbone able to confirm the kill here in the end. He and Hadi, though, last one standing over here towards the point, and the HP bars are just not in their favor. Backbone trying to get the flip, will be able to do so as the photon barrier comes through. Alpha Yi cannot stop that.
Yeah, he has to give that one up now. Just going to play around the edges, still stay a little bit relevant for damage. The rocket barrage will come through a little bit later on as the wall fades. ZETA Division are going to have the regroup in here, already pushing the cap itself. Spacers need to get onto this.
Hadi on the ride now, and that fire strike maybe catching Violet off guard. Either way, ends up getting caught up by it, gets taken down. Swing around the back on the hunt, trying to see what he can spot out here, see if he can come up with any pins, but it's just Fearless playing high-low, high-low.
Comes a huge risk. Alfie just dropping a barrage directly on top of Hadi. He doesn't have a lot of capability to get out of the way. If he doesn't have a full shield, that could just be his life.
Gonna have to try to whittle away at that one as the pulse bomb stick is gonna be huge!
Oh my God.
And they get corralled together. Sparker similarly gonna be taken down by the blast. A huge pick up there from Flora as now Hadi left all on his lonesome, just gonna be delaying accruing as much percentage as humanly possible, but ultimately it's going to be 95% here for SSG as the flip comes back in.
It's a double again, so I believe it's a TP. It looks like Backbone took the TP and ran it into his teammate.
Hadi playing Mystery Heroes.
Well, that's the thing. The Ryan is just not going to do enough. He wanted to go the Ryan to maybe get back a little quicker and surprise the opponents, but there's no surprises here. Okay, you went Ryan, and what are you going to do about it? You can't really pin anybody. There's a lot of high ground here. It's obviously a bad pick, so Hadi has to go back to the Diva.
Okay, TP across, been taken down, Backbone. Huge right click to find him, and Violent similarly eliminated. Beat going to be dropped here from Funny Astro as Space Station want to go ahead and claim this opening round. The flip is going to be coming through, and now they have to rely on Flora to kind of go for this touch, but he has already been found out. Isolated in the back lines, taken down. That's it. It's over.
That's beautiful stuff. Landon and Backbone working together there. What you have is a TP into a window, into a full charge right click from Backbone, and that's a one shot onto just about any regular hero. So, I mean, that's extremely important for SSG to be able to pull through these incredible combos, save the situation, recover from the fact that, okay, you had a really weird situation with that Ryan, go back over towards Diva, you can actually support your team properly. But it is something you have to bring up, the fact that you have a Zeta division that were largely, I think, behind on ults for most of this round. So tempo-wise, SSG did a great job of just keeping the pace very, very heavy, very, very fast as well. And you need something like that to go up against a stronger dive team. They know that they're the weaker team in terms of the dive matchup. Zeta know that they're the stronger team in terms of dive matchup. But as we move into Lighthouse here, Space Station, Hadi was gonna go towards the jungle wing. He was thinking about it, but now it's gonna be the Ryan TP directly onto the point. And Zeta, Alfie has to do a lot of heavy lifting here onto the fire to really defeat this.
And he does, but getting sight lines to really poke and prod into the point here gonna prove to be a little bit more difficult for him. Wall cutting off that back access, allowing them to just focus forward. Immortality Field Force out here is Landon eating quite a bit of damage. The Zap's coming across, and that's going to be Fearless, able to find that opening kill. Stun in as he does get pinned against the wall, but the kill cannot be confirmed, so still going to be the man advantage, but Space Station close to getting the flip, but Fearless comes back through. Stomps on a Sparker, the cleanup looking good. Hadi will find one as Flora does get taken down, but he's antied out and isolated, so will just end up dying, and Zeta can get the first cap.
I think Fire is an ideal hero to break this sort of hold as well, because again, Space Station's strategy here is the TP directly onto the point. You're going into May walls, you're going to symmetric turrets, but if you have off-angle control, Flora and Alfie can play off angles, maybe force that Finn Byron to land through when Hadi can't cover every single entrance, then Zeta Division have a good opportunity. And the most important thing here is usually it takes a long time to break that hold. Space Station should have been able to get the first cap, but they didn't.
Well, the TPing quickly in. Fearless the one who has to try to really keep this protected, but no, okay, minor little angle, but Flora noted. Backbone saying, I see through your ruse. Immediately swings the corner, finds a headshot into the melee, hit to confirm the kill. And just like that, Space Station have control of the point, and they're going to be able to take the lead from here.
And Flora's upset about that because usually, especially post-season 9 in Overwatch, you can't get one shot by the Mei anymore as a Tracer. But if your melee range, the melee also comes in through, you're gone. No chance to recall, instantly dead. Huge play by Backbone. He must have heard something, or he just has spidey senses. That sixth sense came on through really heavy.
I mean, this guy plays so much Mei, he knew he had left a gap, and he saw that the point was being contested. It was one spot that pesky Tracer could have been. Whether or not he knew it was Flora is a different story, but either way, he capitalized beautifully. Nano Barrage going to be coming in. Alfie trying to stay alive, but he cannot. Backbone again, finding that elimination, but damage has been dealt, and the kills will continue to spill over into Zeta's favor.
Crucially, Funny Astro only on 95% to the beat as well, so if he had that available, could have counteracted the Rocket Barrage in some fashion. At least Hadi and the rest of the 4 members could have survived and pushed this cap a little bit further forward. It's about Space Station ever edging that towards a 99, which forces Zeta Division to get more and more desperate, more and more aggressive. Zeta have to play way more patiently than Space Station do. Space Station can repeatedly TP aggression to the point time and time again.
Fearless looking to hold them back. That Mei wall not going to mean much of anything for him, but 5 ultimates here for the side of Space Station. Primal already going to be popped. Fearless looking to come around from behind, sleep there on a Hadi. Quite a bit of damage. That should be off the side of the map, and it is. Landon going to be taken down. That sound barrier shielding not going to do a damn thing for a fall of that height. Hadi now gone in this sound barrier, not allowing them to survive. The pick on the land and meant everything.
It actually looked like a player or two got booped out of the TP take. That, or maybe they just faked it, but either way, was, oh, okay, so no. That's actually, it looks bad.
No, I know.
What Flora's trying to do is he's trying to preempt the TP, I believe, to try and just kill the TP straight away.
And I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, okay, you see the teleporter come up and immediately send out the pulse bomb.
But he should have waited
for the full prediction.
He should have waited to see the TP first instead of doing that.
Yes, exactly. He's trying to go for a big Nostradamus play. Ends up getting his life taken, as does Violent, though. Shatter dropped in, the fire strike, claiming the kill. Rally unavailable, and Finn still 19% away from having that nano online, which they would love at this moment, because Fearless will just fall. So Flip is going to come back through Space Station. They're desperately keeping this one close. Still having that opportunity to maybe get the 2-0.
Well, Finn needs to get this nano. That allows Fearless to dive onto the point itself, create some space, maybe find a primal. Alpha E, that's the key player, because once the shields are broken, once that lamp is gone, he has free reign to use the rocket barrage from any of the side entrances, and Hardy cannot cover all of them. Backbone cannot cover all of them with the wall. It has to come down from that lamp, and Landon's only got one of them, long cooldown.
Maybe another chance here at the nano barrage. His Backbone just stuck into the corner. Barrier at the ready. Sensu can just go ahead and poke out from the point itself. Pulse bomb into the side. Florin unable to find the connection there. I think Sparker maybe just tucking in front of the wall fast enough to be able to avoid it, but Landon does end up dying.
He wants Hardy. Alpha, he needs Hardy here.
Wall coming back up. Couple shots there. Sparker taking low. Funny Astro trying to stay alive. 60% away from that beat, and that could be the difference maker here on this map. Could seal the deal on victory or failure. Beat does come through. Catches on the 4. Landon the only one not receiving as O'Reilly gets popped here from Violet. Hardy, however, isolated, pushed out of the point, and taken down. Blizzard going to expire. Alpha E gets traded out. That barrage not yet seen, but can just maybe hold it for the next volley here, as it seems like ZETA Division should be able to get this flip. Cleave down onto Sparker. Finn will fall. It's going to be a slow run back here for the Ana. They need to not lose out on additional players here. Landon down low, but Fearless comes right back over to the point. The cleanup is going to be good.
Still 20% left to play through, so it's not actually over yet. All the ultimates have basically been expended. Spacestation have not much to play through here. They're going to have to go really quickly. If there is a single good conk from Alpha E to block people from going through the teleporter, that could be really bad. They're actually going to wait just a little while longer. Maybe they'll go through the back where they are. Look at Sparker's position. They're going to go all the way to the back.
Oh, well, Alpha E going to be spotted. There's the TP forward.
Someone the boot!
Oh, the boot! Violet with the web shot. Sends Backbone to his grave. Immortality Field going to be taken down as Alpha E just looks to contain them here within the hot tub room. Shots flying down, and this is going to be going the distance here on Ilios. As ZETA Division, a huge play, a great deny from Violet.
And that's why you don't normally take that TP, because it's so risky. You're gonna get booped, and there are heroes that can do that. Alfie is also waiting with the barrage. He's got a conk blast as well. There's so many different ways for the squad of ZETA Division to prevent you from taking the TP, and I don't think everyone took it. A couple of players took it, and then the rest of the players you saw got locked up in that side room with the pause. That's a free rocket barrage for Alfie to lock them out. Hardy on his own, some can't really do anything about it. To be honest with you, SSG actually played this reasonably well. They did as well as they could have. They got, what, to 99? They had the lead for a reasonable amount. It looked like it should have failed on basically the first neutral, because the first neutral, if you remember, SSG got wiped out. They didn't even cap the point, but they had the confidence to say, we can still play this. We know we're behind, but we can get ahead. And they did, at least for a while. As we now head into Ruins, Hardy doesn't want to do anything in terms of dive. No Diva here. Straight towards a ramp. They want to force the brawl, but they know they can't play Ryan.
See if this can work. Success here for the side of Space Station. Hardy taking quite a bit of damage off screen. You can see that HP bar just fluctuating rapidly. Violet pivoting over now onto that Alari. See if he can put up some solid figures. Anti-connecting only on the Sparker though. Immortality Field will still get baited out, so some crucial cooldowns exchanged.
Points open. Space Station on right now. ZETA Division. Where's the damage? They're trying to lock Space Station back over towards
push out into the
side,
open, and that is everything. That concussive blast from Alpha E, helping to isolate Landon, and the kill comes in for Fearless, who finds Funny Astro to boot, and that is going to be the opening lockdown here. The point going the way of ZETA Division once more, you would suspect. Saudi will be able to find one, but ultimately, he and Backbone will both get taken down.
SSG are trying to pressure the point away, but also they're still stuck inside that side room because Alpha E is spamming a ton of damage. 68% is, again, it's exactly what you expect out of the Farah. And now Hardy going over towards Orion. I said maybe Ryan wasn't going to be the pick here, but he's believing it. He is the Ryan player. This is the Ryan team. The issue is, once more, they have nothing to do against Alpha E, and it's full open reign for Alpha E, full rocket hunting season.
A lot of damage there on the Violet floor as well, just harassing on that flank, just keeping him worked low, poking and prodding where possible. Immortality Field going to be on CD here for the side of Space Station. Landon under fire, down low. Kill can come through. Beat's going to have to be used, and it does get the shielding across onto all 5 players. But it's just basically the retreat. Landon will find one. Now the Ant Matrix is going to be used aggressively, but Pulse Bomb comes in. Hardy going to be taken down. Trade out here on the tanks. For the clear out on the TP, Flora able to get rid of that. Barrage still held, and still ZETA Division in control up this point, and they haven't had to commit any of their support ultimates.
Yeah, they killed Fearless, but instantly got traded, so just nothing comes out of that for SSG. They need to be able to get Fearless down again while keeping Hardy alive. Nano now onto Alpha E, could be a Nano Barrage. Alpha E otherwise, he's just taking damage because he's got so much damage mitigation now.
Is eating quite a bit of it. Ice Block going to be taken down, and he's just going to hold on to it for a rainy day. Says, okay, thank you very much for the Nano. I get to survive. I get to hold this for the next wave.
You really shouldn't see Alpha E die at all. I don't think he's going to cop a single death on this round because there's nothing to shut him down. It's complete, again, free season for Alpha E to do whatever he wants. Back when Fields approach, he's like, we need something to at least push Alpha E. It's going to come back to me. Spark is usually the hit scan play, but he's got a wall available, so it's Backbone that has to make the swap.
Desperate times now. The first 2 rounds. Very competitive here between the two squads, but ZETA Division looking to try to run away with this one as the captive son going to be invested. Barrage finding one. Immortality Field now going to be cleared out. Sparker taken down. Only Alpha Yi. He does suffer that one death, but it's the only one that he will find as it is death from above. Violet clicking heads, taking names, and taking ZETA up 1-0 here in the series as Ilios is theirs.
A tale as old as time. Farah absolutely dominates Ryan Brawl compositions. We saw it years ago when Chengdu Hunters ran it to, I think, Atlanta's Reigns dismay. Gator called it a dishonest hero. Well, if you just want to play Ryan, it certainly does feel dishonest. The unfortunate thing is, if you're SSG, you have to have options against us. In an ideal world, they discover this is not the play. Put Sparker onto the cast. He's got that in the hero pool. He's an amazing cast play. Your best hit scan play, one of the best in Europe. But Sparker's stuck, unfortunately, on the sim. He has a wall available, doesn't want to give it up. Final fight, you decide that's the time to make the swap happen. It's far too late. Really what should have happened is you just don't play the Rhine on that map in the first place. You just can't win with it. I don't believe SSG can win with the Rhine against Alpha's Farah on Ruins.
And it could be a continued pain point and maybe something that SSG are going to have to ban out nice and early. Curious to see what this map draft is going to be looking like, because we have a very flexible team on the side of ZETA and a team that is very set in their ways. So coaches on stage going to be assessing, but for now we'll go ahead and pass it back down.
Thank you, gentlemen. And there you have it. ZETA Division taking home the first game, but it was Spacestation Gaming battling back in this one. We saw full 3 rounds of control, something we're not used to. So, Jake, since you're just joining us fresh, I want you to start, my friend. What did you learn just in game number 1?
You know, I thought we'd see more of Bernard in this series, but Fearless coming in was a great look on Ilios. Really, the Winston is very, very impactful on that map, and I think the matchup is actually great against Space Station. There could be more maps in the series where Winston, hero that hasn't been getting so much love this meta, could be a great tool to shut down Space Station when they're all grouped up.
ZP, do you agree? Are we going to see more of the scientist?
Yeah, I do think we'll see more Winston. I also think for Space Station, what we saw here is that they were very comfortable anytime things were indoors.
Yes.
Once we got into Ruins and things were wide open, their comp kind of fell apart a bit. But that's also, I mean, this has been this team's identity for a long time. Up close and personal, in your face, long-range games, not necessarily their forte.
Space Station Gaming seems to be running the May Sim. That is their bread and butter. On the other side, Alpha Yi looks best when he's on his far. You can see some of the devastation there. You ban him next game, right? Do you take Alpha out of the sky?
You know, honestly, that's been, I think, a strong point for SSG. They could take us to a Circuit Royale, ban the Pharah. That implicitly protects their own Symmetra, and they've shown they can win with that comp on Circuit Royale. I think it's very effective, maybe even the best comp, as long as you've got the Symmetra protected and you're not worried about a Pharah in the sky. So wouldn't be surprised to see Christopher and the boys double down on this Rhine Sim. I think in the end, if you go to these dive mirrors, you know, Hadi on the Diva, Psycho's amazing on the Echo, but it's just not this team's strength.
Let's take a look at our audience's prediction results. Over at stcplay.gg, 61% agree with ZP that it's ZETA making a run in this tournament. And ZP, you said this is the team to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, Crazy Raccoon is definitely more favored, but this is a team that has a lot of potential. It's a team that got even better since the last time we saw them play. They've leveled up, and they were so close to being a top 2 team in Korea even before the recent changes. So this is like one of those teams that feels like it could be the story as they level up over the course of the tournament.
I got to give you mad respect. You're the only one to pick them, and they are on opposite sides of the bracket from Crazy Raccoon. So if that matchup happens, it's in a grand final, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Jake, talk to me about some of the other heroes on this stage. Who else should we be turning our attention to? We've seen a lot of Space Station Gaming over the last 2 days, but ZETA, they got to sit all yesterday out.
You know, I think for ZETA, one huge asset that we cannot forget on their squad, we saw it in the third round, 100-0 on Ruins as soon as Violet brought out that Iliari. I think this is a hero we are going to see more and more of as the top teams in the tournament face off. Not only can you peel your allies, but the top players on support are delivering tons of damage on the hero. The ult can be super impactful as well, and there's few better pilots for the hero than Violet.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a high-skill player like Violet, when you have players that can really take control of the game, it brings back memories of Season 1 Jonak, right? Where you are controlling the tempo of the game from the support role, just popping off when the other team least expects it. The fact that you can have that level of extra firepower coming from your support role for the few players that are very good at Iliari is an enormous asset for the teams that can use it.
Violet, one of the most successful, if not the most successful Overwatch 2 player we have here in Riyadh. The man's already won 2 world championships, and he's looking to bank 400,000 if he can take home the title here. But as we take a look at our maps and modes, we know it's going to be Space Station Gaming in the driver's seat. We already got Jake's prediction. He thinks Circuit Royale and a Farah ban is the way to go. What about you, ZP? Are there other options here if I'm the coach, Christopher?
I do think there's other options just because of the fact that if you go to Circuit Royale, the number one thing that I feel like ZETA is going to want to run is Bernard on the Sigma. His Sigma is world class, and it's not necessarily a hero that I think SG may want to run in this situation. So while the Farah could present problems, I also think that the Sigma presents problems and is also the most comfortable tank for ZETA to play on Circuit Royale.
Jake, where can Hottie swing his hammer?
I think Circuit is actually the spot. I mean, in the end, the Sigma is so strong on Circuit, but for me, the Ryan Sim actually wins the matchup against Sig, although most teams go with Sig because not many teams are very confident on the Sim style. It's very unique. For me, when I was coaching Outlaws, I want us to play Mei Sim there every single time. I think it is the winning style. It has a great matchup into Sig. Last time, teams banned Lucio to try and shut down SSG's Mei Sim comp, but they still made it work. I think if I was ZETA, I would ban the Rhine here on Circuit.
Here it is. Circuit Royale is the map. It's officially locked in. Jake sees the future. So now all you have to do, Jake, is see a Farah pop up on that
if it's
screen.
Farah
right?
ban and Rhine ban, maybe I'm just the best of all time.
He might be the greatest of all time. ZP, are there other heroes that you could consider banning here if you're ZETA Division?
If you're ZETA Division, I mean, maybe you ban something like the Ram, maybe you ban the Rhine here, just the heroes that you know are comfort picks for Hottie in return. Now, of course, if they ban a tank first, you're not going to be able to ban a tank in return. So if we see the Sigma ban come out first, they'll have to target something else.
Here you can see the maps remaining as we head to Circuit Royale. We saw Hottie and crew doing damage behind the shield with the hammer. He's been so good with these shatters, but will ZETA give him an opportunity at Space Station's ban first? And Jake, you said we're getting Alpha E off the Farah. You nailed it. You are 2 for 2 after being on the stage for 15 minutes.
I hope ZETA bans the Rhine. That would be, I think, the right choice for them. We'll see if they agree.
3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Witness me.
I witnessed. Now call this series. How many maps we going?
It does feel good to be right, Bucket.
How many maps we going?
I'm going to say 6.
6?
I'm going to say
I agree.
I'm here for a long time and a good time. Let's make it happen. We've got our hero bands, or we've got the map loading up, and you can see the smiley face of Bernard as he makes his way back to the stage.
Yeah, and that just means one thing. Sigma is coming into play. That's not a hero Fearless would be playing, but certainly something that Bernard plays to extreme precision, a mainstay here on Circuit Royale. I mean, you look at the bans, I think both teams know exactly what the other team is going to be running.
They're very familiar with each other. They've been watching the VODs. They've been prepping for this moment. Christopher at breakfast was saying, you know, we don't play until the second match. I'm making sure the boys are in those shuttles early. We are getting to the venue, and we are going to get some play time in, a little bit of practice. Is there a way to warm up against a team like ZETA Division? How do you replicate their playstyle?
I don't think it's about replicating their playstyle. It's about SSG finding their own unique style, finding their footing on it. It has delivered miracles for them before, but it's also fallen flat against some of the best teams in the world who find the right answers. And honestly, this Rhine ban could spell trouble. While Ram can sometimes replace Rhine in this style, the matchup against Sigma is much more difficult. You don't have those hard lockdowns from Pin and Shatter.
How do I shut down a Symmetra? Because I see Backbone on that stage. It means there's definitely going to be a sim in this game, yeah?
Very, very likely. It takes great awareness of the map. That TP can come in almost anywhere, and so every player has to make instant moves. One step out of place, and you will be cut apart.
We've got some fantastic Widow potential as well, but it's time to jump into the game. Let's get it going. Map number 2 is underway.
All right, here we go. Jump into Circuit once again. we will see. Is it going to be some more of that sim play, but also what's going to be happening here for the side of Space Station? It looks like Hadi is going to have to pick up the Sigma.
And that's a problem, right? And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Christopher as a coach, but I think he might have made a mistake here. Unless he can prove to me here in this particular map that this is exactly what you are supposed to do in terms of bans, Space Station should have protected the Ryan. They should have banned out the Ram. So you get rid of ZETA Division's opportunity to play a brawl with Burner in. Maybe you force, you know, someone like Fearless into play the Ryan, which I don't think ZETA are going to be practiced on. That should be the matchup Space Station looking for. They want to force a Ryan or Circuit Royale. There's no chance, I'm sorry to Hardy, no chance that Hardy can beat Burner in this Sigma matchup. This is just not what SSG are built to do. Vistola could barely get past the Korean Sigmas. Hardy, he's not a trained off-tank. This is not a hero that's normally in his hero pool. This should be a Ryan map for Hardy. They would have put ZETA in a very difficult situation if the Ryan was an option to bring through on this map. Now it's not. So what are we going to see? Really from Space Station? This is it. It's going to be the Sigma, or I guess he could play the Ram, but if he plays the Ram, it's just like, you know, at least for a team like SSG, that's their poor man's Reinhardt. They'd rather be on Ryan, but they allowed the Ryan to go through. They allowed ZETA to ban the Ryan.
Well, it looks like we just have to do a quick swap here. The headsets, Backbone having some audio issues, so we'll just go ahead and get those changed out. Unplug one, plug the other in. It's super simple, super easy, super fast to go ahead and move on from this. But of course, there are those pesky zip ties that we may have to be concerned about. So we'll just go ahead and get the admins, have that, get that taken care of, and then we can get things underway.
There's also one other consideration here. If you look at the SSG lineup, you'll notice that Funny Asher is still in here as well. So you have a situation where it's definitely going to be I mean, how do you play the double flex support here? Can you really, match up to Finn and Violet on the double flex support? The other option for them would be to swap Backbone onto Funny Asher's position to add in an extra Zenyatta, add in something where, an aim required hero. SSG have expressed in the past that they are willing to put Backbone on a flex support to make that work. But no, this is unfortunately for SSG not what they're going to be doing. So again, we have to hope that Christopher has really figured this one out, that Pharah really is a priority for them. But you got rid of the Pharah to do what? Play a Sigma mirror? I just don't think that's it. I don't think that's the winning play.
I mean, the big curiosity that I have is what else goes along with it? Is it just what we saw highlighted there at the beginning that they end up sticking with? Is it going to be that May Symmetra with Hadi on the Sig, Funny Astro on the Lucio, Landon on the BAP? Or is there going to be something else? Because you already know on the opposite side, you're going to be going up against a hit scan of some sort. It's going to be that Widow. It's going to be that Ashe. Can you just reliably TP forward to try to get the punish there, deny those lines of sight, or are you going to get picked apart?
There's not really there's no such thing really as a Sigma TP comp. I mean, what are you really TPing into? You're just playing, there's no Sigma brawl. That's not really a real thing. So unless Hardy swaps over towards a Ram right now, which still makes some sense, I think you can still play the Ram here and sort of get away with it. And you can tell that ZETA are ready for something like that, because before we went over to, the technical pause here, I got a quick glimpse at what ZETA are actually locking in, and they're actually on the defense. Alfie's on a May. So ZETA are prepared for some type of TP brawl strategy. They're thinking, we ban the Ryan, the next best option for Hardy is going to be the Ram, probably a Ram brawl coming through here, which means Alfie, don't bother starting on the Echo. Your Pharah is gone anyway. Might as well just play a May and help alleviate that pressure by putting the walls up, make it more difficult for Hardy and the rest of SSG to approach. And that's exactly, the kind of strategy that ZETA are preparing for, because SSG a reasonably, somewhat easier team to read in terms of where their strengths and weaknesses are, which once again just shows how susceptible they can be for bans. But this is why this system exists, where if you are the team that has priority on bans, which SSG do, they can choose to protect the hero that they really want to play, but they didn't do that.
Insane. Caught a quick glimpse of him there in the background. Odd to just see Rascal up on stage, headset on, but not in the player's seat. It's there as the coach, rotating around behind the scenes here. As, whoa. Cameraman.
He's an Overwatch League champion as a coach and a player at the same time. So, he's had a very decorated career at this stage in multiple different roles.
Yeah.
Back for OWCS, Esports World Cup.
Apex Season 3 runner-up.
For Korea here on ZETA Division. They need a little bit more backup. Bringing in Changun and Rascal. Try and make this one done.
Yeah,
Hardy can do some press-ups here. You can lie back, but, last time we saw this, Hardy decided to do some press-ups, so we'll do that maybe we'll wait till map 3 or 4 before we get into that.
Yeah, for now, I think it's still early days here in the series. Of course, this could end up being a bit of a marathon. So if you got to, get woken up, get that blood flowing, then going for the push-ups a little bit later on could be the play.
If it is going to be a marathon, you need SSG to find these winning maps. And like Ants, very similar to the last series we casted.
Yes.
These maps have to be your winning maps. They've had such good runs on Circuit Royale. They've defeated Korean teams on this. They beat Fnatic on this particular map as well, where Hardy has unique capability to do some flexing between the off tanks and the main tanks in a way where it's kind of like someone at home, someone being the Toronto player, but Hardy's obviously going to be better at various picks across the main tank category, namely the Rhine, and they have a very good win rate with the Rhine on Circuit Royale because it plays excellently into something like the Sigma, which Burnout wants to play. So this could be one of the key maps that SSG unfortunately drop out of the series in terms of the selective pull if they mishandle the execution on this map or mishandle the drafting for the bans, and that very well could be the case. So again, I need SSG and Christopher to prove to me that banning Pharah was the right choice and that not having the Rhine available for Circuit, which is what they normally would play and win on, was the right choice to make.
Well, time will certainly tell, but for now, still just waiting for this headset to get swapped back in and make sure that everything's going to be working nicely here for Backbone. KitKat are definitely getting their money's worth here.
It's because you're here, Seth. And again, you are cursed for pauses, so...
I cannot claim to have been responsible for Dallas, at least. I was on the other side of the world. So for that one, which I think is now the all-timer for Overwatch, I'm no longer holding the record.
I had fun doing that pause. I'm not gonna lie. I got to stand up out of my seat and walk around and enjoy the festivities. But no, I think if it is just a headset issue, we had a PC swap, I think, on one of the other days. So
yeah, you were doing that. I was eating hot pot. I was at Heidi Lau or something like that. There was some good times, but should hopefully be ready to get things underway once again. Looks like we have to just maybe reset some stuff here on the desk. Get that cable management taken care of. That's something that I've never been good at. I'm in one of those positions. I don't know if you're the same. Like, I'm capable of and have built PCs in the past. Used to do that when I was in college. I don't really go for it anymore because my cable management is so bad.
Just hide it all behind curtains. No one needs to see it.
I just pay somebody to take care of that now for me.
Passing SSG stickers around. Go and get you one of those. SSG, by the way, do have a little spot in the the gaming area for the public to walk into, where SSG have their own stand.
Like on the boulevard.
Yeah, it's actually right opposite to the arenas where we are in. So yeah, there's a full public area for a whole bunch of expo stands, and SSG have their own stand there. So they're here as an organization in full force, supporting their teams, and one of their best teams, I think, has to be in Overwatch. And I'm sure they have the other teams coming through in the other games as well, all throughout this event. But SSG is one that they're really banking on, hoping to get some much required points to climb the club championship to, at this stage, I don't know if they can catch up to Falcons, but at least do some damage to get within the top echelon of teams, top 10 minimum, and maybe beyond. Yeah,
I mean, but as more and more teams fall, which of course, after today, we're just going to have 4 remaining. Turning the boulevard of broken teams. Everybody going to be going home.
And actually, SSG side of the bracket is very interesting because they do not have Falcons or Crazy Raccoons. So because it's single elimination tournament, you're in a situation where these teams, ZETA, Spacestation, Twisted Minds, Toronto Ultra, one of them is going to the finals. And none of them will be faced up against the heavy tournament favorites, Crazy Raccoons or Team Falcons. So
yeah,
if Spacestation get past ZETA Division, I have confidence that this team will actually go to the finals, because the other favorite in this group, I think, actually is ZETA Division. So this is the difficult game for SSG right now.
No, it really is. It's that second to last hurdle, realistically. You're breaking down, just given the strength of the groups. Obviously, we could have, big performances, breaking our expectations from either Twisted Minds or Toronto Ultra, whichever team is able to make it through that side of the bracket to match up against the winner here. But this does feel like this is kind of that jump. If you can make it over this, the next boss maybe a little bit weaker, and then you really do get to that end boss, which we are expecting to be Crazy Raccoon.
Because the thing about this tournament so far that it's shown us is that at least some of the Korean teams are beatable. Fnatic, they're already out of this tournament. They had a very difficult pathway out of groups to even get here. They barely made it into the groups. You look at ZETA Division, in their groups, they dropped a reasonable number of maps. I mean, yeah, they dropped the map to Bleed, they dropped the map to M80 even, and they have a situation where, okay, well, maybe the M80 map, what drop was a little bit more Kappa in terms of the, you know, the substitution, whatever. But the ZETA series versus Bleed was very eye-opening because even the Suravasa, the second map, we were there for that one, was really, really close. So it's a step up from Fnatic, a team that SSG already beat. But ZETA are not infallible. I mean, this right now is not quite the top echelon yet. This is third seed from Korea. And so this side of the bracket is extremely important because you are dodging the best teams, and Crazy Raccoons and Falcons have to eliminate each other. So one of them is going to be gone from the tournament probably earlier than they want to, which just allows somebody new to get into that final. So we're not just going to have a repeat Falcons, Crazy Raccoon final, a brand new opportunity for another team.
Which is insane to think about, that is going to be a potential semi-final clash, unless Virtus Pro says otherwise. Because, you know, coming into the tournament, of course, everybody had that pegged for the grand final, saying like, yes, of course it's going to be those two teams once more, battling it out, trying to become the best team in the world. But one of them is likely to leave in the semifinals unless Virtus Pro can just go ahead and send Falcons out very early on here later today. So that's going to be one to certainly tune in for. I mean, all of these games, we're here, we're in the quarterfinals. All of these games are high stakes. All of these games are ones to tune in for.
I'll tell you what, VP beating Falcons would be the upset of the tournament. LGD beating Falcons is already a huge upset, but in some ways, there's precedent for that because you look at the history of, you know, the core of those two teams. Yeah, I mean, LGD, back then as Team China's or Hangzhou Spark, they've beaten that core from Falcons before. It's not unheard of, but it would be a lot more unheard of for Virtus Pro to do it against Team Falcons, as some players will just catch a little bit of Z's here before we get into things. Just rest up, calm your nerves. This is the moment to really have a bit more of a think about how you're going to approach the rest of the series. It's very, very, very important for both these teams. For a third seed Korean team to not make it deep in the tournament. I mean, the expectation for ZETA minimum, I think, is top 4. And now they have the opportunity to make it to a final. It would be their first final as well, where they've been kind of stonewalled by Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons in the past. This is ZETA's opportunity for Space Station. It would be the highest and best result for a European team in, what, like 7 years of Overwatch esports.
Yeah.
So Space Station have been waiting for this one. They've been waiting to prove that they are better than everyone else. They're waiting to prove that they can match the Koreans, beat the Koreans. To beat one Korean team, they want to beat a second.
I mean, last time that comes to mind, that major success of a European team. I mean, Johnny, you would say Rogue.
Sorry,
you'd say my team.
They didn't beat the. I messed it up. Fnatic actually did beat SSG. I was still thinking about NSET. So a European team did beat a Korean team.
Yes.
SSG probably could have done it versus Fnatic. They didn't quite do it, but okay.
Let's be fair. They should have done it. Let
me rephrase that. SSG nearly beat the Korean team. This time, they want to turn that nearly into actually, yes, we did beat a Korean team.
Right. I was going to give some credit over, of course, to the European squads of yore.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, Envy going into the Lion's Den and being able to take down the Korean teams within their own region. First time that had ever happened in a team-based game on Korean soil. But everything's taken care of. Backbone's got his audio once more, and now we can get the map underway. As stated, looks like they are going to be sticking with the Symmetra here. The TP forward is going to be a tempo push coming in for the side of Space Station Gaming, immediately getting in onto the corner, but kill cannot be found.
That's a TP gone. When's the next TP going to come through? Are they just going to play at this breakneck pace the whole time? It's difficult because they have the payload. You are slowed down by the fact that you can only really go as fast as the payload will allow you to, unless you want to play 4v5 or just give up the payload distance entirely for that one fight. ZETA Division, they have time just to kind of see where the walls come through.
Looking for the isolation.
That wall actually helped Bernard a little bit.
Yes, it did. Got him the high ground, got him the drop down. Bernard eating quite a bit of damage here, but that is going to be more than fine for Finn and Violet.
By the way,
trying to keep pace here on the ults.
ZETA should not be losing the poke battle. They have double flex support. Space Station have a Lucio. There's no way ZETA Division are getting heavily out damaged here.
Well, a decent amount of reply there from Violet. We're on to the Zenyatta, which is not something we've been seeing a ton of here in this tournament quite just yet, but Violent going to be taken down. Speak his name and he shall fall. Zenyatta immediately eliminated. Amp Matrix going to be coming through, as is that Immortality Field, just trying to keep him alive. Finn with a nice peel, does find Funny Astro. Hart still getting quite a bit of distance here. It's Landon fighting back with an Amp Matrix of his own. 1.26 meters left to go, and with no tank, this is likely just going to be Alpha Yi falling, losing the contest here on the cart. And that cap coming in. Violent rejoins just to die, and it's going to be 5 minutes and 6 seconds here for Space Station.
I mean, the reputation is that Korea is faster, but maybe that only applies to dive. Maybe when we talk about the poke or the brawl, it turns out that EU is faster and Korea is too slow. But the problem I have here is, how is ZETA losing the poke battle when they have double flex support and Funny Astro is on a Lucio? You have a situation where Backbone got the first pick. You have an Ash on the side of Flora. There's no hit scan for Space Station. ZETA must be doing something extremely wrong to be losing a damage battle in the poke phase.
We just haven't been able to confirm any of the kills. We can see some of those HP bars really just wavering on the side of SSG, but then the stability is found. Funny Astro about to have the beat online, just 10% away from that one. Is Dynamite not going to find anything? Photon Barrier invested now. Sparker segmenting the map. Accretion connecting Backbone. They're into that ice block, but Bernard going to be taken down. Hottie, however, interrupted as he goes for the flux, and that is going to be catastrophic. Flora coming up with 2. Immortality Field taken down. Backbone dead on the staircase, and this was all Flora all day long in this fight.
Hardy using the flux here is a little too far. He had very little HP. He needs Funny Astro to also use Sound Barrier. I mean, they're kind of waiting both segments for the rock exchange, the accretion exchange, because no one wants to get rocked out of their ultimate. But for Space Station, okay. Bernard's gone. Hardy gets free reign. Funny Astro doesn't save him.
Flora ready for that TP. Sound Barrier now going to be dropped in the flux coming through here from Bernard. Transcendent still crucially in the back pocket here for Violet. The drop down, HP bar is going to be shattered but not fully broken. Is everybody able to stay alive? Transcendence used there, but Amp Matrix has to be pulled off him, so value cannot be found. Now Finn is about to have his own Amp Matrix, so advantage for the most part here in the hands of ZETA Division, but Violet's going to be taken down. Backbone finding the headshot.
It's Backbone. He's out damaging a hit scan and double flex DPS, and now Space Station have a strong chance of actually capping this one. Finn might just have to burn this window now. He can't really afford to wait too long.
And Violent is going to be a pretty slow run back, so he's going to swap it over. Goes for the Lucio as well, just to match in that regard. Amp Matrix, the wall coming through. The cutoff there on a Bernard. Immortality Field comes in to keep him alive. Grecian not connecting the card. 3.46 meters left to go. Wind a bit of absorption there from Hottie on the kinetic grasp. Quite a bit of damage across onto Vitalist as he does nearly get taken down. Turret set up on the exit. Card now still going to be halted. Alpha E close to the Blizzard, but close to death. Heals coming through. Finn doing his damnedest to try to keep this May alive. Sparker at the same time. Another Photon Barrier about to come in. Bernard is going to be the first one to fall. Mortality Field now pushed forward. Funny Astro similarly. The beat nearly online, but Hottie will also get traded out. It's tank for tank. Beat now in play. Violent, he does not have his Sound Barrier to use. Alpha Yi out of the ice block, into the fire, taking an immense amount of damage. His Backbone's able to collect
the bomb. Where's the bomb?
Gone. How did it end up there? He's moved his way over in towards C. It must have been a boop. Denying that sight line. You see where Flora is at. I have to assume that Funny Astro displaced it, but either way, it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds with Bernard getting staggered.
This is going so wrong for ZETA. They had the better composition, but they're just getting out-damaged. Backbone with so many opening picks so far on these points, and now Bernard getting staggered as well. Alfie not quite having the Blizzard in time. Bob not quite being there in time as well, so here goes the Bob. And
I think it slides off the front of the cart.
It's just gone, yeah. It just got sent into the abyss. Is there an Ajax there as well?
That's what they're calling out. Granted, the teams have been saying C9, so maybe we just have to educate some of the European teams on what these terminologies mean. But either way, Space Station, they certainly are looking like they know the definition of the word win, because things are going well. Flux out from Hottie. Amp Matrix dropped in, looking for the accretion. That is now on cooldown, which opens up Bernard to potentially use his own Flux, but Alpha E going to be taken out. Violet dead. Flux will come into play. Flora down to a sliver off screen. The drop down, the kill's not found. Hottie managing to survive. Bernard once again the last man standing, but not for long. Gets taken down, and this is a very pacey push here for SSG.
Well, now this is going to be a cap because Landon and Funny Astro of Ultimate ZETA just have been out-tempoed, especially on C. No, it's not going to happen. That is very impressive for SSG, but hilariously embarrassing for the side of ZETA Division, where it's acceptable. So here's the argument. On C, the Lucio with the speed, the TPs going up and down the high ground, etc., all those plays for the Sigma matchup, I think favors SSG. If you want to talk to me about that being a good composition, a good pick for SSG in that moment, I would 100% agree. Everywhere else on this map just shouldn't be the case. And it's a comedy of errors. There's too many things. Okay, Violet also Ajax is what I'm talking about. There's a comedy of errors here for Zeta Division where the Bob goes into Narnia, absolutely has 0 angles. Flora didn't even have that one. Boop, it just got rolled over the cart. I think he aimed it towards the payload, but it just skipped over the front wheel of the payload and went to their spawn. Like, Violet gets Ajax. What's going on? This is like, this is embarrassing for Zeta, quite frankly.
Oh, I mean, it's certainly not good. Violet getting Ajax, not necessarily the newest thing. We had seen a decent amount of that over in OWCS Korea. You know, it's one of those things where you live by and die by Violet at times. But this was certainly, across the board, a very surprising result for Zeta Division.
I mean, yeah, we can make the argument, the Lucio speed and the TPs, everything, that's great. That is exactly where this comp starts to come alive, which is why there was 0 resistance on C. You could argue there wasn't a lot of resistance elsewhere either, but I think that's coming down to the fact that Backbone had 2 very important opening picks, which then brings to the question, what on earth are Alfie, Flora, Finn, Violet doing? You know, they have the range. God. We have a spawn cab, actually, okay.
We do, and we have Finn getting taken down, but Backbone's going to be burnt down here as Alfie also able to find Sparker. And, well, forward hold, I like the cheeky attempt. I like the rush play here, but ultimately it is going to be Zeta Division coming out on top, is in both the fight as well as in ult charge.
I still respect that SSG keeping the pace up, but Sigma spawn hold, very different from Ryan spawn hold. If they had a Ryan here, that would be a very effective position, but Zeta, yeah, it's just going to be a mirror matchup where you have a lot of off-angling. I don't think Space can cover those angles the same way. Sig just doesn't have the same survivability in that sense either. So how does Zeta slow this down? Zeta need to just slow that game down a lot. Space Station have to keep playing quickly. You have to really look at where these TPs are coming from, watch those speed boosts from Funny Astro, and allow Zeta Division, if you're looking at it from their POV, to slowly spam down Space Station, win those damage battles, win those shield battles, keep Hardy low.
Christian going to be going wide, dodging out as Hottie backpedaling, kinetic grasp coming through, but Dynamite ticking away. Sort of some of that shielding and Immortality Field has to be used by Landon to try to keep him safe. Violent going to be taken down, Backbone able to find the kill right as that Amp Matrix comes through. When Bernard off on coast side, he will fall down. So
Backbone
solid return here as Backbone leading the charge, looking for a little bit more. They will lose Hottie. That's going to be a decently slowish run back here for him, but the 4 dead on the back end gives him time to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, Backbone is just controlling this game right now. He's certainly being able to aim quite effectively. Ultimate's starting to really come online for both teams as it's going to get quite bloody now. Zeta Division is struggling to get this cap underway. Now, yes, their composition is certainly slower, but they need to be able to really use the range advantage here. Not going to have too much range advantage on the hairpin at least, but if they can win this part, they might be okay.
Yeah, Metrics in, but the Photon Barrier denying it away, stopping it from gaining value, and Finn eliminated. Hottie finding that kill. Flux still in the back pocket, and Finn still 21% away from that Transcendence. Just going to be pretty much damn near necessary to try and survive that Flux when it comes through, because there's a Blizzard that could be waiting for them at the bottom.
Yeah, Blizzard's on both sides now, but Funny Astro, I think, has a really good ultimate. Funny Astro.
Bernard sending it. Seeking target, looking for the pickup. Grabs Backbone, but Sound Barrier shielding comes through. They keep him protected. Elimination's not bound. They get rid of the ult, but now the counter Flux is going to be coming in. Pick up on the 2, into the ice block goes Alpha Yi. The Blizzard right there at their feet. Transcendence now going to be used, but Violet already headshot taken down. They lose out on one of their supports. Backbone similarly going to be frozen. Kill confirmed as Flora finds the elimination. Hottie's back statue. Discord Orb here on the Sigma, but still somehow not getting punished for quite some time. Eventually we'll be able to find the headshot as Funny Astro goes diving forward, but will give his life for that one as Finn just tries to stay alive, tucking back here behind the barriers. Eventually will fall to Sparker's hand, but things opened up a little bit more now for the side of Zeta Division to get the push going.
Flora's starting to come alive now as well. He's really able to use his Ash and the Bob coming through in the previous fight. But you have another situation where, once again, Backbone touches, Backbone gets the, he does touch for a brief second there, but Backbone gets the opening pick again. So it really is Backbone being the linchpin of Space Station to allow them to find these kills, to win these type of situations where it's meant to be a poke battle, but Zeta Division is just down 1 when Backbone gets a kill.
Everyone's spamming out C9 here on both sides. Seems like we have to set up a educational session. Do some consultation for everybody here.
They can present it to the council, but I'm not going to certify it, so it doesn't matter.
Fair point. Yeah, Matrix here from Landon in play. Everybody just tucked back, abandoning the card for now. Hottie just bouncing his hyperspheres around the corner, trying to build up towards that next Flux. Bernard got the beat by about 20% or so. Need Funny Astro to try to find
Should be a
that
wall.
next sound barrier.
Oh, and backbone again!
Delivers
What
again.
I'm saying.
Headshot across. Alfie going to be taken down. Bernard is really backpedaling as there's the photon barrier up in front of this Ant Matrix once again. And this comp from Space Station just continues to have the answers. They say, okay, you use this ult, we've got this one. You want to use the flux that you have coming up? Funny Astro's going to have beat.
I will say as well, Spark on the sim is, like, the wall is a very good ultimate for this particular matchup. It blocks out a lot. I mean, we're talking mostly about Sigma poke battles here. The wall is a game changer. You can also just, as we've seen twice now, block out the window coming through from Violet. But largely, it comes back down to what has been said multiple times now. Somehow, Backbone is out-sniping everybody. You'd think he's on a Widowmaker right now.
I mean, yep, they're playing a game of rock, paper, paper, and right now it's Zeta Division with the rock. They just cannot win this out. Flux now coming into play. Finn has to pop the Transcendence. Safe on the drop down. Here are these players. Immortality Field's going to be cleared out. Now they look for their own Flux, but Funny Astro, depending on the catch, has the beat ready. Instantly drops it. The shield comes in. Alfie going to be caught up there into the Blizzard. Frozen. Immortality Field keeping alive for now. Increasing hit from Bernard, point blank range, though, will take down Hottie. Backbone dead means that the fight becomes winnable as Flora will pick up 4.
They don't have a lot of ultimates, so Violet's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in the next fight. To be fair, though, SSG also used everything. This is the catch-up moment for Zeta. I will say, though, even if Zeta get this B cap, it's looking unlikely that they match the time bank of Space Station. Space Station just finished.
They're going to start with the time bank of Space Station.
Well, that's just, essentially, I think it's going to cost the whole minute for Zeta to get this cap.
And there's still going to be an opportunity here for a last-second contest so they can take away even more of this. And there it is, another headshot. Everybody on Zeta Division knowing Backbone's wrath. Funny Astro will get traded out, but there's another one. Backbone able to find 2. Let's just go ahead and start counting headshots, shall we? Headshot there on Alfie, takes him low. Immortality Field going to be cleared out. Bernard, the barrier, not going to last. He's walled into the corner. He will die. And that is now 40 seconds remaining. Space Station able to get the contest.
This is about to be the most legendary May performance of all time. At what point do you have a player with this level of consistency and accuracy in a comp that's not designed to beat the mirror, in a situation where a May is out-sniping a Zen, Bath, another May on the opposite side, and an Ashe? That just shouldn't be real. But Backbone, he's making miracles happen.
From the hand of God here, it would seem, as Finn just isolated, stuck into the back, taken down, had the slow field set up from Hottie, and Funny Astro able to find the headshots across. Alfie eliminated. That's a lot of your staying power. It's a lot of your delay. It's another headshot from Backbone as Flora will fall. And that is going to be this map coming to a conclusion. Space Station Gaming, they had the gameplay strategy. Hottie looked a hell of a lot better than we could have anticipated on that Sigma, but Backbone looks like a god.
And we just got out of that game, and in the chat that you guys don't see, Hardy types in, he says, Bernard nervous. Christopher says, should have banned Lucio, boys. Ban May, maybe. Backbone says, I agree with all the above. I mean, we're looking at a situation now where it's dangerous. If SSG can pilot a Sigma comp like this, then you gotta be worried if you're Zeta Division. But at the same time, can we talk about the fact that what was the comedy errors from Zeta Division on this map with all of the mistakes they made with the Bob and the Ajax and the fact they just continue to get picked by Backbone? What are we doing with Flora's, Ashe in this gameplay? What's happening with all the range damage? You're Violet on Zen, one of his best heroes of all time. Well, this guy won the Overwatch League playing Zen. He's one of the GOATs on Zen of all time, but he looked like an amateur in this setup. I mean, what is going on? Zeta were not themselves here. They were, honestly, that was probably the worst of Zeta that I've ever seen.
I mean, Backbone making that May, it gave me shades of, no, more than shades of Libero back on Meta Athena in the Apex days when May was absolutely busted, but no one else really knew how to pilot it. That was incredible. Let's pass it down, though, to the analyst to break down the action from Circuit.
Thank you very much, Avril and Ilios, and you have a very happy Puckett on the stage, because I have an alt account called Super May. Backbone, making me want to get back on that account as fast as possible. Jake, can you play this May on all maps, or was this a specialty pick here? You saw it coming from a mile away.
I do think SSG are going to try to make this work. I don't know about every single map, but anywhere they possibly can, because even if you take away the Rhine, I would have thought that was the crucial piece here in the comp. Just the May sim together, banning Farm, protecting both heroes simultaneously. I mean, there's just no better team in the world when it comes to the sim rush style, and even knowing that it's coming, Zeta Division can't stop it. It's just inevitable.
I think the technical delay gave these players a little opportunity to refocus on SSG.
It was
you
the
can see
Kit Kats.
Funny Astro catching a pillow. He was leaning back, lounging. they seem to come in super confident, super relaxed. And on the other side, you can see with the trash talk going back and forth, emotions might be going high there on ZETA Division.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a lot of trash talk back and forth, but what I think you really have to commend here is SSG just bringing ZETA to a map and then running compositions that they probably don't get a whole lot of practice against. This was sort of an EU special, and if you're playing in Korea all the time, you just wonder, it's like, well, wait, we're not even playing against this stuff all that often. It kind of brings back the memories of teams just dropping series randomly to Chengdu, because it'd be like, how do you practice for Chengdu? I don't know.
Taking us back a few years. Love to hear it there. Jake, though, walk me through this matchup. Who had the biggest impact? Who were you impressed by? And who needs to clean things up?
Honestly, I mean, I give credit to all of SSG. As much as you can look like one individual player, like it's their team play on the Mei sim comp, their ability to execute with the ults, every single hero being played to perfection. But if you wanted to highlight one, I mean, Backbone, you know he's going to be consistent with the Blizzard, with the wall, you know, doing his job really on Mei. But when he finds opening kills, snipes across the map into the BAP zen, I mean, that's not supposed to happen, right? That's going above and beyond. And so when Backbone heats up, he can be a huge threat. And that's the X factor of the comp. Mei is not really a sniper, but when she finds picks like that, it feels like you have one on your team.
Speaking of Zen, we've seen some incredible Zen play from Violet across his career. Can he pull it out again? Was that a mistake at all? ZP, we look forward to the future maps, hybrid push and flashpoint still to go.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like the strongest choice there. I mean, look, I'm not going to say Violet can't play Zen because clearly the resume is there. But on the same note, you look at what players have been able to do with Illari in that same situation.
Yes.
And you know what Violet can do with Illari, and you really have to wonder, like, was that really the peak performance that Violet could have gotten on that map if he was playing a different hero?
Is it to battle Blizzards? Why do you bring it out, Jake?
I mean, I don't hate the Zen. I don't think it's like wrong strategically. Maybe Illari is a little better in this meta, but Zen is great on circuit. Where I was getting worried for ZETA Division is they role swapped halfway through the map. So it's one thing to play Zen and to think that's the best hero, but to be swapping your support roles and saying, oh, give me a chance on this end, maybe I can pilot it better. That's a little, I don't like to see that. If
Internal trash talk, right?
Exactly. I'm honestly, like, that's not normal. There's no real reason for you to role swap halfway through the map strategically. There's no value in that. It kind of only comes when players are doubting one another or saying, like, let me try something else. That's not feeling good for me. I don't like to see that, honestly, from a coaching perspective. That is like a worrisome sign when players are role swapping for no real strategic reason. Not the best look.
We're waiting for the map, and I'm told it's locked in by ZETA Division. Suravasa is going to be the choice. Are you surprised by this at all? Why would you go to this map if you're ZETA?
I mean, I think for going to Suravasa, I think if you're ZETA, the one mode you don't go to is Flashpoint, because clearly it just does not play to their style. Even though they're able to win control, I just don't think it makes sense. So getting push out of the way kind of makes sense, kind of an in-between point. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to take out. I feel like this could be the time that they take away the Lucio just to make the rotations coming out from SSG that much slower.
These matches have been very close through games 1 and 2. Jake, is there any chance we see one team complete a push? I haven't seen it yet since I've been on stage.
Well, Suravasa is Flashpoint, so they actually are going to Flashpoint.
Sorry, Flashpoint. Thank you.
They are taking us to this map. I think it's very possible that we could see something like a Lucio ban. Typically, Lucio incredibly dominant on this map type. It's a place where, you know, the mobility, the ability to get around the map, get to those next points a little bit quicker, get back to the fight a little quicker. It's super valuable. But I could see that angle with maybe like an Ana Brig, maybe Fearless coming out on the Winston. Without the Lucio in play, that could look really good. But I think there's a lot of ways ZETA could choose to take this.
You got two fantastic DPS in the lineup at any time for SSG. The question is, do you bring Psycho back in at all throughout this series, or are you loving what you're seeing out of Sparker and Backbone?
I mean, I am loving what I'm seeing, but this is potentially a tough map. We've seen Twisted Minds make great use of the Symmetra here on Suravasa. So if it can be done, I think Spacestation will also be able to find the way. At the same time, I do feel like you've got to give credit to Psycho. He is a monster on the Echo and the Tracer. The only reason he wouldn't come in is that stylistically, SSG is just going a different direction. It's no discredit to Psycho's skill.
Shout out to production in my ear. The great Liz tells me, you're right, Puckett. Psycho is in. ZP, that's one for me. But tell me about the comp with Psycho in the lineup. What should we expect to see? And how do you counter it if you're ZETA Division?
Yeah, I mean, with your Psycho in there, I mean, the thing about Psycho is that he's a super, super flexible player. You're probably going to expect Sparker to be more on hit scan or otherwise, but Psycho himself, you know, there's a lot that can be played, whether it be something like, you know, an Echo, a Genji, or otherwise. You know, I think Psycho just can kind of flexibly do it all.
And speaking of flex, we've got some flex opportunities if you're ZETA Division. You've got Bernard, you've got Fearless. Is this a map that you'd bring Fearless back to? He had a lot of success on that first control point.
You know, for me, this is a map that could go either way. You know, there's some of these big main tanks. You could bring a Winston in. Not really the best meta for Winston. Could be going in a direction with like a Mauga or a Zarya. We've seen teams elect to run different brawl styles with those main tanks. But honestly, I think this is just up to ZETA's feeling of the map. I don't think this is decisively one way or the other. Just speaks to their confidence and their read on the meta, which way they like to go.
Now, Fnatic was able to pull off a reverse sweep. After dropping 2 points on this map, they won the next 3. Do you think that is possible for either of these teams? Or once you get to that second point, you're almost guaranteed victory?
I think ZETA has already shown that they're very good about playing from behind. Again, it's also, you have enough veteran talent there that it's one of those teams that kind of like OA LGD, I would not count them out until the final point is over. It's just a team that you have enough experience that comebacks are incredibly possible.
Jake, we got about a minute before heading back into the Qiddiya Arena, so break this one down for me. You are a perfect 3-4-3 on the last map when it came to map selection, picks and bans. How do you see this one sorting out? What do you think we're going to see on the screen?
You know, I am interested. I think there's a couple different directions. One could be the Lucio ban, right? Slow the game down. Maybe that makes Ana Brig the dominant support comp. And when you go to that exact comp, I really do strongly favor the ZETA Division supports. I think that's their big advantage here in the matchup. So that could be a good idea. Another option would be banning the D.Va. I mean, of the dive heroes, that's been the one Hadi has gone to the most. And to be honest, I think when it comes to those dive matchups, I don't know if the hero matters that much. I just heavily favor ZETA. I think they're a much better team in a dive mirror. And so if they're forced into that mirror, I think SSG are going to be in a tough spot.
CP, you said we're going to 6 maps. Does that mean ZETA's definitely taking this one? It's their map pick.
Yeah, I think ZETA's taking this one, but I also think that it's going to set up SSG to, utilize their coaching and their, the idea that they have some good gimmick strategies and, sort of homegrown EU stuff. They'll be able to turn the tables on ZETA after.
On the other side for ZETA Division, I want to see what is going to happen from the DPS. The Pharah should be back in for Alpha Yi. Does it work on this map, Jake? It's time to find out where we're going with our map selection and the bans. As you mentioned, we have Flashpoint. There's only 2 options. This is a pretty good one for ZETA Division.
It is. We could see a bit of Pharah, but with Psycho on the field, his ability on the Echo, I'm not sure that's going to be too much of a worry. Really, I think a lot of pressure on ZETA, though, with this ban. You've got to set yourself up for success and kind of show your direction.
You were right.
It's going to be the Lucio ban. Slowing the game down, and honestly, this is the time for ZETA supports to shine.
You can only take it out once. They're banning Astro's best hero right now. Good idea, ZP?
Yeah, it's very good. That's what I was calling in the pre-match of just, hey, ban Lucio, slow it down a bit. I mean, also, again, it nerfs Astro, but I like this in turn as well. Get rid of the Winston, and this is the one of 2 Winston bans, really, because they still have the Ana ban in reserve.
All right, so keeping the D.Va in play. We'll see what Hadi brings out to the table. Are you expecting some D.Va from SSG?
I think it could be D.Va, but I'm a little worried for Hadi. Taking out the Winston could end up biting them. Bernard potentially could come out on something like a Zarya, and from there, the game could get really weird. It might be tough for Hadi to make a rush style work without Backbone in and with no Lucio on the field. This could be tough. I like Bernard's odds here.
I don't know if I've seen a Zarya W yet. Have you, ZP?
I think we saw it in one game. We saw it earlier today, in fact.
We saw a graph.
Yeah, it was Max that was on the Zarya at one point. But
Crazy Raccoon doesn't count.
Yeah.
No, they win on everything.
Yeah, they win everything. And it didn't stay in there the entire game. They were switching it up.
So, Jake, you just veto anything Crazy Raccoon does as an outline.
Well, I just mean, them winning on it, I'm not convinced. But I do think Zarya is underrated this meta. We could see more as the tournament develops.
All right, if there's a Zarya on board, we'll see if those grabs will be eaten. That happened earlier in the day. Will it continue here on the big stage? The Qiddiya Arena has been a blast so far. We're going to have all 4 of our quarterfinal matchups. If you're just joining us, welcome in, Americans. Good morning. We're going to be kicking this one off here with some fantastic tanks. The DPS, though, has been so fun for me to watch. And, of course, we have some incredible backlines. Landon, back on the Baptiste for this map, Jake?
Very possibly. A lot of different directions, though. Wouldn't mind seeing maybe an Ana Brig. I think you might have to match up on that powerful support duo. For Violet, though, I'm curious to see if an Illari could come in here. It is Flashpoint. The main supports are quite strong, but Illari has been really hot this meta.
And what's Finn's job on the team right now for ZETA Division?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Finn, number 1 job is just, work as a team with Violet. And especially if Violet is on the Illari, you're kind of going to have to take a little bit more of a role, like actually keeping the team alive, give Violet room to actually stretch out, do more damage on the Illari. But that's where I'd see Finn at.
Players taking a moment. Looks like we're a bit far from the game kicking off here, Jake. I don't see anyone locked in. Hands aren't on the keyboards and mice yet. So what are you talking to your players about if you're the coach? It's a tie series. It's just game 3 in a best of 7 that could go the distance.
Yeah, I think right now, if you're Zeta Division, you've used a very powerful ban against Space Station in the Lucio. This is a map that you really want to win. You want to get up back into the lead in the series. I do think, even though SSG gets some counter punches, Circuit Royale for me is their strongest tool in the kit, and it's already been used. So if you're Zeta Division, getting the win here, moving on to the next pick in the series, you are really sitting pretty to take it away. So I think this is really going to be a battle for Psycho. He really has to step up and deliver in a huge way.
I love that we see some trash talk already in this series. It's only been 2 maps, but things are heating up. And ZP, we got the casters joining us here to talk a little bit about this. Ilios, how often do you see a Korean team? I know Zeta Division is a Japanese org, but how often do you see the Korea players talking a little bit of BM in the chat mid-game?
Usually not very often, to be perfectly frank with you. Even ahead of the game, sometimes you don't see too much trash talk. I remember, especially Krusty, he comes into OWCS Korea. He's got this stacked roster, this huge organization backing them. Like, how do you feel going up against X team, which is like an open qualifier squad with a bunch of new faces and a couple out players? He's just like, I just hope that we'll do well today. It's like, come on, Krusty, talk your smack.
They only get baited into it by the European teams or NA teams. You know, it's Funny Astro or Hardy or someone doing it first, and then Violet's like, should I respond? I'm going to respond. And that's how they started off.
Looks like we got a bit of a mice swap coming out here. You changing the pink one in for the white one, Jake? Does this affect your mindset at all if you're a fantastic tracker? One of the best hit scan players in Sparker.
Absolutely critical. The wrong colorway and everything can go against you. Strategically, we need all the coaching staff to weigh in. We need to do some color theory, mix and match, check the outfit, the jersey, the sponsors. The mouse just has to be on point.
Look, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in conspiracy theories. Think about the last map. What happened? You had a really, really long technical pause, and it worked out well for SSG.
Ooh.
Maybe the secret here is that you ice Zeta. You just make every single game, you make up a tech issue, and you just make them wait 30 minutes, and you're locked in, and they're zoned out.
Is that my guy Rascal back there?
It is. It is.
Rascal, of course, been on every team I can think of in his career. Bounced around to quite a few, played all kinds of different roles on the squad, mostly on the DPS side. What guidance can that young man provide to his team?
I think right now it's just pressure on the support for Zeta. Really, they're the ones who should deliver a huge advantage in the map. You've taken out Funny Astro's best hero. You've really secured not only getting rid of the Lucio, but also for Landon. Might be a little bit awkward to make the Batiste work here on Suravasa. Maybe on the first point I could see it working, but as the map gets more dynamic and we get into those outer points, could be tough for them to find value there. So for Finn and Violet, whether it's the Ana Brig, could be a Bapalari, I think in any of those matchups, they're going to be advantaged, and they need to find some kills on these flanks. On the other side, though, I think Psycho...
Oh, battle of the pink mouses.
What do you feel, Bucket?
I'm going neon,
pastel.
bro. You can't go pastel and have confidence, right? The neon is saying, I am here to play. And also, look at those side grips on that Logitech. Shout out to my man. And real quick, back in my day, I had to have like a mouse bungee, keep my cord off of my... How long have wireless mouses been available?
They've been available for a long time. The tech has actually gotten awesome. Now it's at the point where everyone is using wireless and it actually works. The latency finally got low enough, and you don't have to worry about the good old days. And you certainly don't have to worry about actually manually cleaning rollers, because those were the dark ages.
Real talk though, Jake, if you're swapping out your mouse, I feel like this is changing your baseball bat. This is changing out your gloves if you're a wide receiver playing football. Is it a big difference for Sparker?
If it's the same model, maybe not, but he does have those custom side grips, and sometimes you'd even get custom skates on. Could change some of the feel of the mouse, and so while it might seem like a small thing, that could spell trouble for a superstar hit scan that SSG has consistently relied on, especially in these high mobility dive comps. Whether it's the hit scan or the tracer, Sparker needs to perform, so they really do want to take the time in this pause and just make sure everything is working flawlessly for him.
He has his choice of robotic rodents. Which mouse is he going to use? We're about to find out. On the other side, the headsets are down. That spells trouble for us. We're going to be talking for a while here on the Analyst SCP.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where you wonder, okay, what's going on? Are they soon about to play? And then you get this camera shot. The players have disappeared. Some players are still there, but all in all, It's one of those things where, we might be in for a long period of time, but look, we've hit some interesting points here. We've gotten to talk about the history of mice. We get to see Funny Astro again relaxing, where, maybe that's what put him in the good mindset for the last map. He just needs to get in that rest time, that recline time, and then he comes in and he's fresh.
I remember they lost to Fnatic. It was a surprise comeback by Fnatic, who took the game 5. We rode the elevator up with them in the hotel, and it was nothing but smiles. Funny Astro cracking jokes, Landon having a great time. I feel like those two just lighten the mood. And with Hottie being as confident as he is, you gotta be feeling great if you're Psycho and Sparker.
Well, Hottie, though, he's definitely a proponent of taking care of the body, taking care of the mind. I mean, when I was getting breakfast today, it was a quick breakfast. I had to eat quick to get on the shuttle. But let me tell you, Hottie had a huge plate of food. The food here is excellent, and he is well supplied. Like, this break could go for another 2 hours, and he wouldn't need food. That is how well fueled he is right now.
Let's go to mouse number 3, shall we?
This is a fresh super light, so this is going to be same make and model as his original mouse, I believe. Doesn't have the custom grips, could have different skates, but at least the shape's the same. I mean, that's the most important thing for me when it comes to mouse selection, and I think Sparkle will do just fine on this mouse.
If I am a pro opponent here, how long before I'm like, yo, just start it up, bro? Your stuff worked last map. Why is it broken now?
I want to see ZETA call him out.
Call him out.
You scared?
Oh,
You
we're
need a new mouse?
switching up the weights of these things, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness gracious.
You can almost hear the car racing noises going in as the weights get swapped out, get swapped in. Not quite setting really quick pit times here, but it's fine. Quality matters over speed in this case. You got to get it done right. And you see our professionals right now working tirelessly to get that mouse back online.
Sparker might have a beard by the time he's ready to play. The hair is growing out on the chinny chin chin chick, and we are still waiting for him to get comfortable. But as that main hit scan DPS, arguably the most important man to be able to aim on the team. Let's talk about the big picture, though. We've seen 2 maps from these teams. They played very aggressive in control, of course. The second map, we slowed things down. We're going into this next map. It's Flashpoint. Plays similar to control that map number 1. So macro level. Are you going dive? You going poke? You going rush? What's going to work here best?
I think the biggest challenge here is for Funny Astro, right? Lucio is his specialty. That's when he's one of the best in the world. On the other supports, personally, I think he's solid, but there is a drop-off when you have such a superstar Lucio performer and he has to go to something else. It's never going to be quite as confident. So honestly, if Funny Astro can deliver just a solid performance, just match what Violet can bring to the server, he's going to be looking good.
Let's call it a buck. Is Funny Astro as versatile as his counterparts on the other side of the stage?
Absolutely no way. This is a Lucio fanatic at his core. There are other heroes in his pool that can play, things like the Brig, but the reality is that Astro is a madman. This is a man who once got all top 20 spots on ladder, one tricking Lucio, one after the other. It's like, oh, that account's up there. Now I'm going to bring the next account and the next account. He plays a lot of Lucio.
Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the players are entering the pre-game lobby. That is the first sign of success, Jake, as the former pro. How far are we from kicking off this map?
Hopefully just moments. Usually when you get into that lobby, start loading enemies, the equipment is all set, and hopefully we'll have no further tech issues this map. I know the players on ZETA are anxious to get back in. They don't like this series tied up 1-1 at all. They want to be in the lead. They want to be in the driver's seat. And really the one man standing between them and accomplishing that is the guy on your screen right here, Psycho. Huge performer for Spacestation. Has unlocked new styles for them. Can he deliver against one of the best Korean squads here in the tournament?
For the conspiracy theorist in the chat, we see you. It would be Hottie's turn. You are right. Hottie would be the 3rd member down the line to have a tech issue, but I see the map fly through. That means it has all been sorted. It is time to get into the fun as we are going to head this one back upstairs. Achilles, Avril, let's go to game 3.
Let's do that indeed. I like fun. Do you like fun? We all like fun. So let's have some as we jump into this map Flashpoint to see who is going to be taking the lead in the series.
It seems like with the way that the bans have come on through, SG want to make sure that there's not going to be a fearless sub in, probably not wanting to go up against the dive with the Winston. The Lucio being banned away is really interesting because you do take away the strength of Funny Astro. You got to test his hero pool a little bit. Can Funny Astro bring the heat on some of these other supports? The only other real support that Funny Astro has good game time on is the Brig, but you're not going to have a Brig in this sort of matchup unless Hardy wants to play dive. But you know what? This is SSG. Their specialty is brawl. They're going to end up playing the Ryan. I do want to point out, though, there's not going to be a Sim. There's not going to be a Lucio. This is going to be a very unsupported Ryan compared to what Hardy is used to. How is he going to pilot this? Because usually you need those heroes to enable the Ryan.
Well, Bernard coming out here with that Diva. Flashpoint going to be unlocking in 10 seconds as the Clash gets ready to come through. Alpha Yi back over onto that farm, but Psycho looking to contain with that Echo. A lot of pressure being applied to him on the sub-in.
Sparkers are going to need to do a lot of work here as well. Alpha E was a problem for them on the first map. No real hit scan coming through. Backbone carried on the May on Circuit, but his 3 seconds of cast gameplay was not particularly inspiring as ZETA Division will get the early cap there. Poke, this time far more impressive. No Sims, no TPs, no Lucio for the speed boost of Space Station. It's hard for them to close the gap here. It's hard for them to really affect anything that ZETA Division doing as they just turtle up in the back line and they're just collecting free points, free cap.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, how do you try to get on top of somebody if you go in for that pin? You're putting yourself at risk because Finn on that Ana, he can hit you with the anti, he can hit you with the sleep dart and really shut things down. Speaking of sleep, that's going to be Sparker taken down. Psycho in the meantime does find Violet, sticky bombs across, take him out, get rid of the pylon as well. Bernard just going to be pummeling Hottie in from above. Nano now invested the dive into the back, looking to clean up Landon, and easily enough, Bernard will be able to do so.
And we basically just ended up in a poke phase where we're waiting for ultimates. No kills are going to come on through until the sleep dart was there. And we finish things out with multiple ultimates from ZETA. Psycho, not really a good dupe in that sort of situation. I think Space Station were mostly done. And Lex is going to go towards a swap. That was not particularly well played. But what's he going to swap to if he does? Could be a Tracer. Otherwise, what you really need here is Sparker to go towards a Sim if you want to give Hardy some mobility. Or you need Hardy to swap.
The time is ticking. Can they even get the touch? Looks like the answer is going to be no. Space Station just have to surrender this one. Ends kind of the way that it began. It was a free cap for ZETA to go ahead and gain control first and foremost, and then no contest.
That's probably... Would it be one of the weakest? No, it's an okay point for the Fire, but genuinely, if ZETA kind of lose out of the points, I think it's a little of a struggle for the Fire to retake. And ZETA, well, they'll just have fun on that first point. Let's see if Violet's ultimate finds much here. There's not much to block it through.
Captive Sun connecting on to Sparker. Bob gets sent out. Answering Captive Sun on the opposite side from Funny Astro. Going to see if he can find any targets. The Bob not really ending up in the greatest position, but Alpha E will fall. Funny Astro able to collect that kill, so Barrage not in play here for now as the point gets ready to unlock.
SSG at least on the point this time early. That's what you want to see, but Flora can always retake with his own Bob. It's going to be a 1-for-1-for-1.
The health bar is not looking great here on the side of the ZETA Division. That's going to be widely SSG leading out the fight, getting the cap at the same time as Bernard. Up and over the top, going to try to hold on to that mech. Does have the self-destruct, but don't really want to be forced to use it from here, but looks like he will. Just sends it down, trying to find a pick over towards the point. It's just going to be the pylon instead.
Free remake there, Alfie a little bit low on the HP. Where's this Bob going to come through from? That's your retaking tool. Hardy nearly has his ultimate. This will be Hardy's first Earth Shadow of the game so far. Very rare for Hardy to find damage outside of 5 strikes in this matchup, so you got to get it where you can. It's a free Shadow though. Anybody on the ground is going to have to either Shadow, you can't cancel it.
Oh, there's the Amp Matrix out from Landon. Alpha E seeking angle, but just playing back here within the site, within the point. Bob not quite going to get finished off there until the very end. A decent long life. Flip is there. Shatter going to be dropped down, able to get the connection onto one. Fire strike across, does get a bit of damage there on the pin, but he steps back up, finds the nano, and Bernard alive and well. Floor with a headshot, gets rid of Psycho, and for now, ZETA Division will be able to maintain control.
Yeah, that's just great pocketing from Finn and ZETA Division. The one player that got shattered. I mean, ZETA at this point, no. Shatter should be coming online, so just feed one person, and Bernard can eat that, no problems, and now Alpha E, he's going to clean them all up. This point, 50% for ZETA Division, and Hardy's going to make a big decision here. I think he should swap. I don't think this Ryan's going to work.
Yep. Stagger there on to Sparker. We'll see as the respawn gets ready to come in, and it's going to be Hardy matching now on the Diva.
So they're basically on towards a dive. It's going to be Alari Bap versus Alari Ana. And again, it's a big test for Funny Astro. His best hero is gone. Does he have the flexibility to be able to carry on this Alari, as we've seen previously, as Violet can do?
We asked that question about Hardy. He was able to step up to it in the last map, playing a really nice Sigma. Now the onus on the support line. Captive Sun again, though, for Violet. Astro a little bit further behind. Pulse Bomb going to be going wide. Psycho unable to find the opener as Bob going to be sent down here by Sparker once more. Psycho tagged up. Grabs that mini pack, keeps himself alive for now as Bernard just trying to stay into the back. And with Finn lobbing in that Bionade, will be able to do so for a little bit longer, but then eventually just get broken down. Landon able to find that break. Cap, or the pop, I should say, though, onto Funny Astro. He gets taken down, but the cap comes through. Space Station gaining control right as the division get up to 99. Barrage comes in. Landon going to go down. Supportless at the moment here for the side of Space Station Gaming. And Sparker now falling as well, but Hottie fighting back. The melee hit, taking down Flora. Finn under fire, gone. Hottie finding another as Alfie swaps over onto the Tracer. And even with the back and forth here, it's still going to be SSG ticking up.
Well, you need Alfie to touch, so a fast hero required here. No Lucio, in fact, so Alfie, that's his job. Bernard dying there was a linchpin. If ZETA didn't have Bernard down, maybe they could have won that because they were very competitive that fight, even without the ult or the tank.
Flip is in. ZETA Division gaining control of the point here for free. Astro sniped out of the sky. Trade out on the Alaris, but Finn, alive and well, has that Nano ready to go. Bernard, the self-destruct, nearly in. Nano invested onto the Diva, can push forward, can deny a lot of this wall here, a lot of this Matrix. He's looking to do just that. Clears out the Immortality field. Alfie swings in from behind. Landon gets picked off. And ZETA Division are looking to start things off 2-0 here on Suravasa.
Still got ults to play through those. ZETA Division have to be careful here. They have to get a good clean up with Bernard down. This could get tricky. Flora might feel forced to use this ultimate. The Bob could come through here. Hardy's still alive. I mean,
they cleared the baby Diva, but over time going to start bleeding down very rapidly. Eat on the Bionade. Hottie Hour in the corner, broken out of this one. Taken down, dealt with the Bob there to go ahead and just further frustrate the members of SSG, and that's going to be ZETA now up to map point.
I think it's important that Hardy is finding some value on this Diva because he was kind of concerned about playing. I mean, SSG didn't start on the Diva knowing that Burner probably was. So it was strange that we saw the Ryan there. Hardy had no issues matching up against Burner on the Sigma, but we've seen SSG play Diva here in this tournament already, so it's a little strange that Hardy just didn't decide to do that. Now it's 2-0 up for ZETA Division. It feels like SSG, if they just played the Diva from the start, they wouldn't be such heavily in a deficit now, because reverse sweep required on this map for SSG to get it.
Going a little bit further with the dive. Finally, Astro pivoting off the Alari, goes over onto that Brig. Slick threat onto Hottie, Anti coming through, but Widely is going to be fine. No real way to try to break the mech at this point. Speaking of which, point unlocked, and ZETA Division, again, just getting a free cap. No contest to be found quite just yet.
They're going to have less poke damage now that Funny Astro has swapped off, but he's far better on the Brig than he is on the Alari. And now Violet's going to show us how good his Alari is, waiting for the Matrix, looking for targets, just spamming that one down, but he might die for it.
Oh, bit of a whip. He's 1 HP. He somehow has stayed alive. Healing amplified coming over. Violet gets away scot-free, and then Hottie gets broken out.
Oh.
He sends him to his doom, the headshot to put him down. Sparker will eventually find him, but you can see Violet completely nonplussed. A big wry smile on his face.
What an outplay. I mean, this is the capability you need. This is the Violet we were waiting for. Violet on Zen on Circuit, complete joke here. Now on Alari, that's the GOAT for me.
Looking incredible and looking like a 3-0 ZETA Division. Still do have the Nano ready to go. Their own Bob, self-destruct, about to be there. There's a lob in from Psycho. A bit wanting, a bit too far off the mark.
Bob
cannot find that stick, so kill cannot come through, and yeah, Bob's going to have to be invested. Goes forward on to the point. Bernard boosted up, just rolls over Landon before the Immortality field could even fully bloom out and get that nullification. He ends up falling. Self-destruct now going to be invested to push forward. Bernard will lose his life here. Sparker's able to claim it, and Hottie cleaning up too means that they can get this flip.
Now the long road ahead for SSG. We already talked about the reverse sweep on this particular map, but now it's a 0-99 as well required. No more mistakes allowed. Flora has a Bob available for the retake. Landon, he's the only one that really has an ult on life for Space Station, and for Space Station...
Oh, that's not good.
Psycho, where was that? How did he just get taken down by Finn? Finn's actually kind of exposed here.
It's hard to say, but I mean, Amp Matrix is going to be invested, but not the greatest angle to try to play off of. Landon antied out, does manage to actually utilize it though, as Finn will fall. Violet dead similarly, and Bernard taken out of the mech. But the flip is in, yeah, as you say, ZETA Division getting a little bit of a back cap, making them think twice, trying to pull that attention away. They full focus on the front lines. And ultimately, Space Station, they lose a bit of time, a bit of percentage.
Well, I think it's a lot more than a bit because the cap caps up really fast here. So even that amount of time, that's at least 20%, I think, 25 even. So for Space Station, they should be much further ahead. You really can't allow the cap to go like that, but for ZETA Division, really heads up play. Nice kill initially onto, who was a Funny Astro, but SSG, they do hold at least. They still have control.
But here comes the back cap once again, just continuing to threaten that one. Alfie interrupted.
Here's the Bob.
And Bob out onto the point to try to clear the way.
Not contesting.
Yep, Alfie goes back through. The flip back into their favor. Sparker down low. A sliver of HP remaining. Rally now popped. Funny Astro trying to get the peel. Landon under fire, taken down below half the immortality field, going to be forced out. Pulse bomb at the ready here for Alpha Yi, and now that immortality field is not there to deny it away. If he gets a stick, it's going to be a kill. Up and over the top, Violet playing aggressively, goes diving in, but he is overstepped, ends up falling down. Nano across from Finn, goes to Bernard, but the healing throughput is not going to be there. The counter flip back into their favor. SSG looking like they're going to be able to extend this one with some misplays from the side of ZETA.
Yeah, sloppy from ZETA there. Not Alfie, but Violet rather going for those plays. He was really good at it before, but this time he misses all of his shots. They had way more ultimates, by the way. Nano was there. Bob was there. The Bob initially got the flip, but they gave time for SSG because they couldn't clean up the members. Sparker didn't have the Bob at the start of the fight. He had to build it over time. And so once the Funny Astro rally was gone, SSG were blanked out. They had nothing in the bank economically. ZETA should have really locked up this map. Another sloppy situation. We saw plenty of sloppiness on Circuit Royale, and some of that is extending now onto Suravasa as well.
ZETA Division going to see if they can try to close the door right here on him. Immortality Field this time around is back available, and Alpha Yi cannot find value off the Pulse Bomb. And Matrix here on the corner, Dynamite into Landon's face, has to peel back as Funny Astro plays forward. Landon able to survive, but for now, Cap cannot come through. Ant Matrix will expire, and now ZETA Division can start pushing forward once more.
Need the rally to come on through. That'll give SSG the much required HP and time to be able to get this cap underway. Hardy is so low, though. He's going to have to end up burning the self-destruct as Bernard dies.
He ends up well into the back lines here. And Hardy going to be able to find Finn. Takes him down. Immortality Field, not enough to try to save his life. So solid value found off the self-destruct. And I believe at the first time, it's going to be Spacestation getting the initial lockdown at the point.
That's what they need. If they want the 2 rounds coming up through, again, they have to get the reverse sweep here on this map. They successfully got the 0 to 99 comeback on the previous point. And Bernard's going to make the swap, and Hardy's going to make the swap. Okay, this is now a potentially good matchup for Hardy. You want to have the Ryan into the Sigma. However, Alfie is also going to take this chance to go back over towards the Farah to really put the pressure on top of Hardy. And now Sparker has to return the pressure onto Alfie.
Pulse at the ready. Psycho, quick peek in and around the backside. Bomb nearly built up. And Matrix for Finn. Violet moments away from having the ult online. Psycho still pushing forward, still seeking a target. Hardy going to be taken down. Captain Sun going to be coming through, but there's a stick. Immortality Field out from Finn, able to save their lives as Violet will find the pop on the Landon. Alpha Yi the one casualty thus far, but Psycho taken low, has to backpedal away as the Bob does get invested. They can't deny it access to the point, but the flip is going to be there. I should say the point area.
That's not a worthwhile Bob. I mean, it doesn't hit the point, but more than that, it's a wasted ultimate because they lost the fight. The only reason SSG might go for that is they want to extend the 80 to 99. You don't need to on this map. 80, our flashpoint is as good as 99 as far as last fights go. So that's a heavy tool gone now. SSG on the retake. What do they got for the retake? That would have been a perfect retake tool. Sparker's made a huge mistake.
Could be the critical one here as Flora, his own Bob, now getting ready to come up. Dynamite a little bit wide. Bob at the ready. Finn, however, taken down. Psycho. Critical kill. Who needs ults on the retake if you can just find neutral picks like that? The Finn eliminated. Bob goes out. Not yet cleared, but Psycho does get punished. Flora, the Bob, able to find Sparker. And the rest of the team here from ZETA Division finding their footing. They need to get the flip back, though. 85% built up inside Space Station. Hardy still swinging, still pushing forward here, trying to get on top of Bernard, trying to isolate and pick off this Sigma, but now he's in a bad spot. Has to try to dash out, but cannot. Takes a rocket to the back, and Alpha Yi, that one shot, and might have just won on the map.
Psycho needs to go for the touch here. They have players nearby. Funny Astro is there as well, but Hardy cannot touch. He's back on the Rhine. He's not going to be here in time. Psycho has to do God's work to keep this point alive.
He's in, forces out the overtime. Hardy going to be able to rejoin quickly. The shatter nearly there, but it has to be a big one. Psycho stunned up though as Bernard puts him down. The Flux coming through. Gets the pickup, pulls him up into the air as Violet tries to zone away Funny Astro, and that will be it. Scoops up the Rhine, no more contest. Overtime bleeds down, and ZETA, they will gain the lead once more, 2-1.
I'll tell you what, Christopher at the end of Circuit Royale says, maybe you should ban Lucio. Chang'e says, bet I will. Lucio out of the picture. Now, Funny Astro put into a weird spot for Suravasa, and it ends up being SSG being a little bit uncomfortable with what they're trying to play. They start out on the Rhine, but there's no supporting cast around the Rhine to enable the hero. You can't just put a Rhine in there without anything. No Lucio, no Symmetra, nothing to enable the Rhine, so that's just not a good pick. Hardy was somewhat competitive on the D.Va. I thought that was fine. If they could just play the D.Va from the start, maybe there's a better chance. Maybe after that 4th Palace round, we could have had another one. But you have a situation with even at the end, Hardy decides maybe we should play the Rhine. Because Burner goes over towards a Sig, Hardy gets baited into the Rhine. It's a good matchup, but you still don't have a Lucio, you still don't have a Sim. And it ends up being that Zeta Division have just a better macro kill power, Alpha back on the fire, ability to frag out towards the end there. And unfortunately for SSG, just not their map with the Lucio gone, but the Lucio will be back in future maps.
Yep, can be back into the next one, and it's going to be their map pick to try to keep things neck and neck at 2-2. But for now, Zeta Division out in front, have the lead. Still 2 more wins necessary to take this series. Let's pass it back down to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A very swift game of Flashpoint. It was almost a 3-0, but Jake, you said, hold on, this one's not over. SSG's coming back. How'd they start that comeback?
They started it by getting onto some better heroes, frankly, like get Hadi off the Rhine there. I know Hadi's great at the Rhine, but that's a spot where you just need a little bit more mobility, a little bit more potential. I mean, Landon's on the flank, making plays on the BAP. He needs a little bit of follow-up, a little bit of oomph that the Rhine just doesn't bring without the speed.
You called the Lucio ban. They take it away from Funny Astro. How do you play on the Olari?
They played great. This is what we've been waiting to see from Violet all series long. We know Violet can be incredible on it. And Violet, I mean, the results speak for themselves. Continual high-value plays, getting out of situations at like 2 HP when clearly he should have died. It was great. But also, more importantly, Puckett, this is in the larger meta of the hero ban system. When you know you have a really valuable ban up against your opponent, the most important thing you need to do is actually win the map when you drop it. No feeling is worse in the system than getting their best ban out there and still losing the map.
Jake, he used to be my favorite American player. Now it's Landon. What does he bring to the table with that BAP? It feels like he's healing almost as much as he's dishing out damage.
He's probably doing more damage. I mean, frankly, Landon on the BAP is nice. He puts down damage. He finds these solo kills. When he drops the window, sometimes he just blows enemies away. And honestly, that's exactly the asset you need if you're Space Station Gaming. You know, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more playmaking. And I think he was great in that map, but it wasn't enough. Zeta Division, there's too much strength across the board. It's not just 1 or 2 players. They're all amazing on those heroes. SSG now gonna have to go back to the drawing board, find the map to even up the series. But for me, Circuit Royale was their strongest option. And now, yes, they can create maybe a little bit of comfort, but there's no obvious clear Rhine map.
If you're just joining us, of course, we are playing a best of 7. You can see the 5 different game modes. Once the game mode is picked, we gray it out. So you have hybrid, you have push remaining, and if we go to a game 6 and 7, all of these open up against ZP.
Yeah, and that'll be very interesting should we go that deep. We haven't seen it a whole lot so far. We got in one of our best of 4 series, but that's where the strategy takes an entirely different level. For me, as I look at this, I'm feeling that Eichenwald pick here, just because even as far as hybrid maps go, it's something where you can play a little bit more up close and in your face, especially on points A and C. So they go Eichenwald, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, Jake, what do you expect to see? SSG, you nailed their last pick. You nailed the bans. What do you got coming my way this time?
You know, I wouldn't mind an Ike, wouldn't mind even, let's say, a Coliseo. Aruna Sapi's been seeing a lot of rush on that map as well. For me, I'm a little bit more worried, though, for Space Station on the bans. I think they find themselves in a potentially tough spot. The Symmetra is really the last one of those key pieces to their unique style that hasn't been banned yet. Zeta Division might want to target, but at the same time, you know, if you are SSG, you kind of want to ban that Ana. You want to shut down the Winston dive style.
Right.
Already used the Winston ban. So if you ban the Ana, you expose yourself to a sim ban, and I'm not sure how that would play out.
That's right. If you ban one of the characters, of course, that whole zone is gone. DPS, tank, or healers. On the other side, of course, the opponents, they just got rid of a Lucio. They've shown that they're going to take that out of the game. What do you expect to see from Zeta Division now going into SSG's pick?
I mean, it's really going to depend on the map first and foremost, because that'll really inform what hero they're going to be coming out with. But again, you kind of have to think about what are they actually comfortable playing, and it's any hero that is very comfortable being a little bit more brawly. So, you know, I could even see they've already banned the Rhine. Maybe they'll go forward and they'll ban something like the Ram if they think it's something that would get played. But it's also difficult because I think in situations where they might be playing the Ram, they'd probably just play the Rhine at this point.
Now, ZP, you're never wrong. You're just early. Last time you said we might see some push. Guess what? We're going to see some push. They're going to Runasabi this time. SSG is going to pick the map. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, to me, them bringing it to push also goes to the idea that you think about what Zeta Division is weak at. Things get chaotic. You go to push. It's a map type that can also get a little bit chaotic, and you get a few fights in a row. Suddenly, the other team's on the back foot. I think the more structured the map is, probably the worse it is for Zeta in the series.
Okay, Jake, you said that watching Runasabi, we should expect some rush comp. So give me the best one possible here if you're SSG.
I mean, SSG, they probably going to go with what they always do with that Sim Mei, but it does put them in a weird spot in the bans. You know, those heroes could be targeted by bans from Zeta Division. I think Zeta would prefer a little bit more of an open brawly rush, like maybe a Queen with a Tracer and an Echo, or a hit scan Tracer, much faster style than the, you know, unique style that really only SSG wants to play with the Mei Sim. And I haven't seen the Mei Sim on this map. I don't know how exactly it plays out. I think the ban is going to be a tough spot here for SSG. Their options a little bit more limited as we move deeper into the series.
And I was going to say, Circuit Royale, they already used their Pharah ban, so Alpha E is going to have that available. He showcased it for a little bit on the last map. Is that his go-to comfort pick on all maps, or is this going to be comp dependent?
I don't think Alpha E is one of those players that you can really put on one hero. I mean, the Pharah is going to come out a ton against SSG. It's really a thorn in their side. It's a powerful hero shutting down these low ground comps. But for Alpha E, he's got the Pharah, he's got the Echo, he's got the Genji, he's got the Trace. I mean, he can play pretty much everything, and there's no way that none of his heroes are going to be relevant here in the series. He's always going to find a comfort spot.
We just added 2 minutes to the clock. Means the players are stalling once again. Is this mind game, ZP?
Look, I've seen enough gamesmanship in sports in general to know nothing is out of the realm of possibility. It probably is just tech issues, but
Emergency bathroom break potentially.
yeah, exactly. It's all within the realm of plausible deniability. You know, a little tech issue here, a little walking away there. But also, you know, I'm just thinking while they're there, it gives them a little bit extra time to think about bans and what they do if Zeta decides to ban something like a Mei, which also is something that could come out here.
I'm excited to see what the coaches decide here. A lot of pressure. What's on the line? Well, they've already made 40,000 playing for 80K, right? If they can break into the top 4, some serious money. And of course, the club championship points are on the line. So we'll see what both of these teams are able to accomplish. Let's take a look at the all-in prize pool. Jake, $1 million for a week of work. This is an awesome payday for everyone in attendance.
Such a huge event for the Overwatch players here. I think everyone knows this is the biggest event of the calendar year here in Overwatch. The most money on the line. A lot of these players are really in here this year, teams here this year, to be at this event, to place well. And Spacestation Gaming, I know they're gunning for a strong placement in the club championship. The difference between 5th, 8th, and 3rd, 4th can't be overstated when it comes to getting those club championship points and securing your part of a $20 million prize pool in that club championship.
Players are taking their time, so let's remind you all at home what is going on in the big picture. We, of course, started with the round of 12. All of our 3 seeds were selected by the 2 seeds in that opening round. Now, we're in the round of 8, where the winner of each group got to pick their opponents, and this decision was made by Zeta Division. Why do you think they felt comfortable picking SSG?
I think it's one of those things where you look at SSG, you know that they might have a few gimmicky comps, some stuff that'll give you bad looks, but if you think about which team is better on the fundamentals, I think it's hard to look at SSG and think that they're going to beat you on the fundamentals, especially if you could get, you know, mirror matches or just more standard situations. So if you're Zeta, you look at this and you go, look, we just think we're more mechanically skilled, and even if there's some, you know, twists and turns, we're going to beat you when it comes down to it.
In the end, I mean, I think Zeta made the obvious choice to take SSG.
Okay.
Because think about it, they have their options. It was Falcons or Toronto Ultra. I mean, those are just much more scary, much more difficult to pin down squads. For Falcons, I mean, you've lost that team before as Zeta. You kind of would rather meet them later on in the tournament. Although they lost to OALGD, I don't think anyone's like super happy to play Falcons. And Toronto Ultra have just shown a plethora of different styles. They look great on this meta. So in a way, this is kind of the least of all evils. In the end, all the teams in the top 8 are strong. There's no free lunch going into the round of 8.
It's the 3rd best team in all of Korea playing for Zeta Division, going up against the best in Europe in SSG, and we want you to get to know Funny Astro, the best Lucio to ever come out of the UK.
Spacestation Gaming right now, I think they're the best in the West, and I think they proved that at the Dallas Major. The only problems they're going to face are the Korean teams.
I think our goals for this tournament are at the minimum to beat one Korean team. Obviously, the biggest goal for us is to win.
I think it's a good opportunity for them to kind of prove that they are on the same level, maybe just below. It's hard to tell because of this giant patch that has come through, but it is a tank-orientated patch, and they've always been a team that has rallied around Hardy, so there's potential there.
I think joining SSG after the Overwatch League died has been a really great journey. I think we've got so much talent on the team, a lot of great European players, and it's been a fun ride over the last few months. It's great that we've managed to keep the core of the old Spitfire squad. Paddy, Chris, Landon, all the players that came from there are incredible to work with, and it's just a great team environment to stay with all the time.
The difficult thing for Spacestation, and I think a lot of the Western teams, is taking a single map off of Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons. No one could at the Dallas Major. Like, no one could. And I think Spacestation, they've got the potential, but I think it's quite unlikely still.
I mean, I really want to beat Crazy Raccoons. I think in our match against them in Dallas, we kind of underperformed, and it was a bit of an embarrassing showing from us. And this time I want to get my revenge.
I think Spacestation is still the best Western team, unless Toronto Defiant come out and shock everybody, which I think there's a high probability of them doing so.
I'd say we're definitely the best Western team. After the Dallas Major, we've got a lot of confidence. We're winning all the tournaments in Europe. We're very confident we're the best in Europe. The only real American team we have to worry about is Toronto, and we're confident we can beat them on land.
Spacestation Gaming's chances at EWC are still pretty high, and I think we might see a repeat of the Dallas Major, but I think Toronto Defiant also have a very good shot. And I think Spacestation Gaming and Toronto Defiant, those are ones that are going to clash the heads most. The Korean teams are going to be able to just kind of take it to them. Maybe the European teams, the Western teams take maps off of them. It's really the rivalry that should be looked at is Toronto Ultra and Spacestation Gaming.
I'd say to other teams, the only message I have is that we will win.
Awesome stuff there from Funny Astro at Spacestation Gaming. You can tell they're a fun group of guys. Of course, they're here on the biggest stage, but it doesn't look like they're feeling pressure. But Jake, during that piece, you were saying, you know, if you're having a tech pause, it's totally different. We'll get to that in just a second. First, the update on your bracket. Crazy Raccoons are through to our Final Four. We're going to find out who they play at the end of the night as Falcons take on Virtus Pro. Right now, though, Zeta Division up 2-1 in our best of 7 over SSG. And immediately following this matchup, we'll find out who plays that winner as Toronto takes on Twisted Minds. We could have a long day. I have a feeling we're going to be here for a while, so get comfortable, get your DoorDash order in right now, and be ready to feast throughout these games because, Jake, we have a very tight matchup. This is Runasabi's pick. Spacestation Gaming, though, on the back end of this one. Is it in their head at this point? When do you start to panic?
To be honest, this is a high-pressure map for Spacestation Gaming. There's a lot on the line. This is your next map pick, right? Of the 2 modes remaining, this is the best one you've got. And so you've got to punch back. You've got to even up the series here and now. Falling behind 3-1 really would be devastating.
Runasabi is your map. We are playing push. You got a robot, you got a wall. Try and push it into the opponent's base. Time for the bans, though, which will have a huge impact on this map. Spacestation Gaming going up first.
All right, and the band coming out is the Brig. Not too surprising here, especially because it's something that Zeta would be using to try and, control heavy brawl-style compositions from coming in. And in return, though, the Diva gets banned, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strong, responsive ban. Brig, traditionally one of the best counters against the Diva. So by getting rid of the Diva, maybe you're not so worried. And, ooh, I like this. Fearless coming into the lineup. I just have so much faith in this man.
Why?
You put him on the Winston, he just eats, man. This guy finds kills that I didn't think were possible. He somehow always has Primal, always has Jump. Feels like you just can't shut him down.
Is there a hard counter to the Winston? If I see Fearless, I'm going to be telling my boys he's probably bringing it out against us.
I'm going toward Bastion, but I don't think that's such a good idea in the pro match.
Americans might not want to weigh in on these things sometimes. We've got our pro teams on the stage moments away. It's a 2-1 lead. Can Zeta Division make it 3-1 and put themselves on match point, or will we tie things up? Let's send it up to our casters. Avril, Ilios, take it away.
Thank you very much. That's the question that we are now ready to answer. Is Zeta going to start to break away? Jake was talking about it, how very important this map is for Spacestation. If you cannot close out here, is it all over? Does Zeta just start to run away?
But I think SSG have a good chance of closing out because they forgot about the Hardy Malgas. They being Zeta here, they being Rascal and Changu as a coaching squad, because what's going to happen is Fearless is a dive tank. Both Ball and also Winston, which is primarily what he wants to play, potentially just hard countered by Hardy, swapping over towards Malga. They already ran Malga versus Gaming Gladiators yesterday. Extremely effective. I actually think if you're looking at Zeta, you would have had a better matchup here, keeping Bernard in with the possibility of the Diva, but guess what? They also banned out their own Diva to force Hardy onto something like a Winston of his own, but he's going to start on towards the Ram, As this matchup progresses, though, watch for those swaps.
All right, well, we were talking about Fearless on the Winston, as we often do, but he's going to be coming out the gate here with that Wrecking Ball. Now, scouted out, Psycho catching a glimpse. We'll see if that's going to be forcing swaps here on either side as they identify each other's comps.
They see the ball now. That's been spotted for sure. And a big, long rotation. SSG have the better position. They have access to a lot of health packs up here. ZETA are in the open for the most part.
Pile driver down, getting the pop up there. Funny Astro going to be the first to fall. Spin able to go ahead and snipe down that enemy Lucio, but Fearless does get gummed up, does get taken down, so going to be a one-for-one exchange. And without the tank getting the push going,
oh my
going to be a little bit difficult, but Hadi just kind of watching Landon get absolutely blown to pieces. Nothing more that he could do. Alpha Yi unleashed once again here on this bar, and he's already having a field day.
I mean, Spacestation, though, what was that? They had the kill onto Fearless. It was such a good exchange, and then they just let Landon die. And, of course, without that BAP healing, Hardy's now going to go down as well, and ZETA Division, they're going to get the advantage here. They're going to get the bot moving when, honestly, I think Spacestation won that first fight. They just got surprised by Alpha like they forgot he was there. But there's the Malga, like I said.
Yep, swap coming through. Still could be a decent ult battery for that Pharah there in the sky. See, though, how they fare and whether or not the adjustments are going to have to come through on next deaths from the side of ZETA.
If this works, Fearless is in trouble because his hero pool is really geared towards dive tanks. What's he really going to play here? Does he have to move over towards his own Ram, his own Rhine? For now, though, their poke is at least working.
I was going to say, not sure if it matters if Funny Astro's just going to be taken down for it, able to find that opening kill. Landon now in a pretty bad spot. He's passively healing himself up. His run through, not going to be able to find the stun here. Fearless just sat back, wanting to try to push some of this healing over towards the likes of Violet especially, who is getting closer and closer to that beat, but because Funny Astro's had such a bad time, Violet is now getting ready to double his ult charge.
The pressure is on here. Remember, the picks are still coming through for ZETA Division. They got Funny Astro down early. Spacestation still struggling to recap and just regroup as 5 at this stage, at least with the respawners coming on in. They are getting some trades that'll slow down ZETA Division. It'll force ZETA Division themselves to go into a bit of a regrouping phase. It'll make this next checkpoint a lot more approachable for Spacestation, but due to the fact that they did go for a comp swap here, they're behind in ultimates. It's really important to consider as ZETA Division looks at 4, and that's a lot to cap with.
Yeah, push moving closer and closer to that checkpoint now. 4 ults ready to go. The minefield, it won't take too long for Fearless to have that one online as well to get a 5th. Need that beat from Astro. They need at least a Kitsune rush here from Landon, have something to try to counteract once the trigger does get pulled. The floor going to be taken down. Sparker with some really nice shots. Does find that enemy Ashen. Not much that can be done there. And crash across from Fearless. Nano across onto Alpha E. The double shot on the rocket. The drop down, the melee hit. Sparker falls. Alpha E able to find Hadi as well. And just like that, the pick on the floor completely nullified and exacerbated. As Funny Astro will be able to find one, but then he himself still taken down.
It seems like Funny, or rather, Alpha Yi is the prime factor here for ZETA Division to swing the tide of the game. Spacestation otherwise would have had a pretty decent matchup, but they are struggling to put a lid on the Pharah. Sparker and Hardy both have the capability for damage on towards Alpha Yi, but he's just so sneaky. He's receiving nanos here as well. That's the other thing you have to consider. When there's a ball on the field, it's actually unlikely for the ball play to get the nano. The nanos go elsewhere, and Alpha Yi should be the prime target here. So SSG, they'd like to shut this guy down, but it's just so hard.
Push again. Resumed here for the side of Spacestation, trying to run back as much as they can. 5 ults for themselves, about to be online. Cage fight, 12% away here from Hadi.
And that's going to be a really important ult. That's almost a guaranteed kill onto Fearless. With the tank down, Spacestation will get their momentum. They're the ones capping right now. They're the ones that have 5 ultimates. Here comes the Bob.
Okay, Deadeye having to be canceled as the Bob comes running through. Sparker just looking to avoid that. Kitsune rush sets up for the really quick headshot kills. So Flora loses out on the Bob. Minefield now dropped down. Is looking for the stun, looking for the cage fight. Fearless going to be caught up by it. Just trying to stay alive, but cannot. Like you said, effectively a guaranteed kill, and this time it is. Lead now gained from the side of SSG.
As the Malga says, we're ahead. We certainly are. If you're looking at SSG's POV, Fearless got caught in the trap. Hamster within the wheel, within the circle. The Bob taken care of by the Kitsune. Spacestation had the 5 ultimates. They had the counters ready to go. Even you see the mines being put down there. Hardy just dives on through and stomps a bunch of them.
Tempo B coming through, and speaking of stomping, Hadi runs up, gets a 2-for-1 on the melee hit. Finn and Flora both going to be taken down, and this is a snowball very much getting started from the side of Spacestation.
The question now asked, Fearless, what do you do here? The ball, I don't think it's going to be effective in this matchup anymore. So, as I said earlier, maybe Bernard should have stayed in. Fearless's hero pool, not ideal for this. There are more ultimates ultimates coming out, and Alpha E, his impact still needs to be high. He is the X factor for ZETA Division with this Pharah. And the Nano's coming for him.
Heals around the back, Fearless handing over the last few vestiges here of this Nano, but now a lot of distance that needs to be closed out here. Hottie going to be antied out, trying to sprint away, but Alpha E is able to pursue. Finds that elimination. Suzu going to be burned. Landon will go ahead and break away as Alpha E falling so very low. 11 HP remaining on him, and eventually he will die. Psycho's able to find it, but that's going to be the one kill, clean kill coming through here. Space Station.
Yep.
Now losing control of the bot, but they still have a significant lead.
I mean, the Nano is just so good on Alpha E because it allows him to play hyper aggressively. You're not scared of being shot down by Sparker. There's no real CC on the other side you'd be concerned about. Just rush in there, 500 effective HP with the damage reduction, and no one can really take you down.
Anti on the Hottie, Kitsune rushing everything in the kitchen sink, basically just going to be thrown here at him. Stomps in over the top, and Alpha E with that barrage coming through. Funny Astro and Sparker both going to be taken down. Bob out, just continuing to poke and prod where possible, but Finn will get caught up in the crossfire, taken down, but Alpha E is still out for blood, still looking for more. Tuck away into the corner, Landon surviving somehow for a little bit longer. A little swift step over towards Hottie, but kill's not found until just now. And Hottie will be able to find Fearless, so still not really finding stability here in the fight, our ZETA Division.
Space Station is still massively hit as well, 89 to 40, so that's more than double distance with time going low.
There's none gained here.
ZETA Division going to be in for a bit of a struggle. Just the lead itself is going to be so hard to overtake as this time goes down, and now Ultimate's on board as well. So Space Station, if they win one fight, they're going to extend this to 100+, and once you get 100+, I think ZETA Division have basically lost the game.
Minefield's going to be used just to get them off the bot and try to start pushing forward. Psycho on the hunt. Pulse Bomb at the ready. Finn corralled, surrounded. Pulse Bomb goes off. Kill not going to be found here as Alpha E tries to shove him back. Alpha E does eat a little bit of damage, but ultimately Psycho able to drift away.
Who got Cage there? Because no one actually died. Hardy should be looking for Fearless every time, if not the backline. But Cage comes through, one of the most important ultimates for this matchup, but it does not result in a kill. Has to be a mistake there. Something must have gone wrong for Hardy. He must have missed.
It had to have been a whiff, it would seem like. As for now, though, Space Station still just playing the time game. Deadeye at the ready from Sparker, seeking some shots there on a Violet, looking to try to get hound down here by Alpha E, and he will be able to get that kill. And with a headshot, finds Flora, but Psycho now dead. Barrage opened up. Hottie just pushes right up into Alpha E's face, does make him effectively kill himself off, but Hottie will lose his life for that one as Fearless crashes across. Flora still going to be rejoining. Funny Astro backpedaling. The bot still not in a fantastic spot, however, for the push. ZETA Division,
could be staggers,
they need more, but yes, the staggers, that's exactly what they're seeking, but Funny Astro should be able to get out alive.
I think Funny Astro has to be saving these sound barriers for the Alpha E Nano now, because every single time the Nano comes through, look at Sparker's POV, he can't do a damn thing. This Nanoed fire with so much HP, so much damage, is just completely destroying Sparker. So every time the Nano comes in, SSG, if they don't have an option, they lose.
Deadeye trying to clear, tuck back around the corner there from Alpha E. The beat now going to be dropped, matched by Funny Astro. Deadeye still not going to be able to find any targets, so they will avoid that instantaneous death as Fearless crashing into the back lines, taken down low. Shielding has been popped, needs to get some heals here from his teammates. Bot gets closer to the checkpoint, rather has it.
Look at this.
Still needs to keep pushing.
Finn went over towards the carry. No more nanos available for Alpha E. Maybe Finn got too pressured by Psycho, but I think that's a mistake. You need to enable Alpha E to win this. A minute 30 left, and still plenty of meters to catch up on. ZETA haven't even capped yet. This is going very poorly for ZETA Division. Again, you have Hardy on the Malga really dominating Fearless.
I believe they have the cap. That's at least in the back pocket, but like you said, 34 meters right now. The deficit they find themselves in, and Fearless is dead off the rip as the Kitsune Rush comes in from Landon. So a solid start, continuously shifting that bot away, taking away these forward spawns.
How can Alpha E carry the way he has without the Nano in play? ZETA Division might be shooting themselves in the foot with a minute left to play through and another cage online. Assuming Hardy catches Fearless here, you can call the game almost immediately.
Sparker taking some damage. To Bob going to be coming through, but Alpha E sniped out of the sky. Sparker with a headshot, able to come up with the goods. Flora now under pressure, has to move up into the cage fight. There's nowhere else to go. And he just gets taken down. Minefield will find the cage. Hottie will fall, but they need so much more than that. And there's just not that much time left. 39 seconds remaining. The Pulse Bomb going to be going wide. The Kitsune Rush allows them to go ahead and try to close out the remainder of this, but then Fearless rolls forward, finds so many players from SSG, and he immediately gets taken down. Concussive Blast, an attempt to try to send some players off the side of the map, but none falling forward, none getting taken out. Alpha E needing the barrage here, needing the setup.
Hardy solo for now. He has a charge available. Can still get out Fearless. Finally understanding. Look, the ball is not the play. Go towards something you can counter. The Malga with ends up being the Orisa. ZETA Division. Final opportunity. 10 seconds remaining. And you know what? The bot is on the wrong side of the map for ZETA.
It really is possible, but unlikely. Another Deadeye built up the beat. 4% now online here for Funny Astro. Could just see those exchanged. The barrage ready to go from Alpha Yi, but needs the setup. It does not have that nano, as we've been highlighting. Alpha Yi taken low. Last second shielding coming through, the barrage raining down, but Hadi is just sat there mowing him down with the twin machine guns. Finds the kill. The Kitsune Rush at play. Tap off the Deadeye, the final shot. Violet, Fallen, Fearless, dead. That's going to be the cleanup. That's going to be the map. And that's going to be us tied up at 2-2.
This is a complete misfire coming through from the coaching staff of Zeta Division. They completely forgot about the Malga. You should have seen it coming. We've already had this matchup. Runasapi was played yesterday. Just look at the VODs. Hardy played the Malga into Game and Gladiators, and Game and Gladiators got full capped out. I mean, the history is there. They kept Fearless in to do what? Play Winston? Play ball, play dive into Hardy. Why did they? It's a situation where Zeta Division banned out their own diva and then swapped Bernard out for Fearless. And they had the second ban. They had the second ban. They tried to ban Hardy's diva. For what reason? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. You should be in a situation where you keep Bernard in, you force a diva versus diva matchup, and then if Hardy decides to go, you know, something like a Malga, well, Bernard's there to play the diva to counter it. So that's just completely off the table.
Well, I mean, you have that. You can try to get Hardy onto the diva, and then you have Bernard run the Zarya. And then if he pivots off, that's when he can just also pivot back
Also,
and run that diva. So,
if Hardy wants to play Winston, then let him. You can play Bernard diva into Winston. That's a great matchup for you still. I think Zeta Division had many options here, and they chose probably the worst one. That this is not the right time to bring Fearless in. They misread the map. They misread the bans, and I think that screwed them over.
Yeah, a big misfire here as Runasapi goes the way of Spacestation. We are all tied up at 2-2. This is still either team's game. We'll pass it back down to Puckett and the boys to break down the action.
Thank you, fellas. Welcome back here to the stage. I've got my analysts, ZP and Jake. And Jake, I want to start with you. Avril's being quite critical of the Ana swap. Do you agree with him? Was that required if you're Zeta Division to win these team fights?
Yeah, I think maybe the Ana could have been strong, but honestly, I think the bigger issue here is the tank matchup, right? I mean, conceptually, I agree with the Diva ban if you're playing any team in the tournament, but you're taking on Spacestation Gaming. They really love to play the rush. Maybe a Malga ban would have been more impactful in this spot, right? Force Haji to the Diva. Even if the matchup's good, like, you could take the Diva mirror. You could play ball versus Diva. I don't care what you play. Just get Spacestation off of their comfort zone. That's the most important thing for Zeta to get a hold of this series. That in the end, it's Spacestation's map pick.
And there's no more comfortable pick for Hadi than the Maga. This was a Hadi masterpiece where you take a look at how this map broke down. Hadi just didn't die. I mean, yeah, a lot of that had to do with the support coming in from Landon, Funny Astro, and the really good DPS backup from Sparker. But Hadi was escaping from situations he had no business escaping from and just living in a way that just made them immovable from the point.
And as one-sided as that game might have been, you could see the intensity. Landon with the huge fist pump at the end. This is a moment to celebrate if you're Spacestation Gaming. You've now tied up our series at 2-2. Jake, do you agree? Is Hadi our MVP of Game 4? And who do you think has been the star on both sides of the stage so far?
I would give the flowers to Psycho in that game. I mean, you think about without Psycho on this roster, bringing the Tracer at such a level, I don't think this comp really works at all for Spacestation Gaming. Like, even if you play the Malga, you need the Tracer to control space on the map and shut down the opposing DPS. Get Finn off the Ana, right? It is Psycho ultimately creating those opportunities and putting pressure onto Zeta, preventing them from playing the greedy heroes that they're hoping to get away with.
Okay, so with Psycho on the stage, that means you got Sparker playing hit scan. How was his cowboy? Did the mouse affect him, ZP?
Honestly, he withstood it. It's one of those cases where, as Cassidy, you have to give the Cassidy a base level of respect, just enough that Psycho was opened up to run wild. And it's not the only time we've seen this in this tournament. You know, you think back to what we saw for teams like Toronto, right? Where Sugar Free was going wild on the Tracer, and Merit was more of a supporting DPS in a sense. But that's fine. If you have a great Tracer and you can just make a little bit of space for them, that just works. And all the good teams this tournament have a Tracer that can play at that level.
Fearless kind of got bopped around on that map. We'll find out if he stays in the lineup. Jake, do you agree that it was a mess up on the coach's side? Was this just a better composition with the Malga coming out from Hadi? How did you see this map 4 breaking down?
To be honest, hindsight's 20/20, and the coaches, they've only got like that 1 minute. You see the map pick, see your opponent's ban, and you have 1 minute. You got to figure out what you're going to do. What's your roster? What's your ban? You got to make all those decisions in a snap. And from Zeta's perspective, on average, are you playing any other opponent in the tournament? I would agree, ban the D.Va. It's just a special case against Spacestation Gaming. You've got to remember their wheelhouse, and I got to agree with Admiral. You've seen the Malware come out on this map before. You knew that that was a possibility for Spacestation Gaming if you watched the tape, which I think for ZETA, they ought to have. And so in the end, would have loved to see a Malga ban on the map.
We've got 5 different game modes and we've played 4 of them. That means you are definitely picking hybrid if you are ZETA Division. Is this an issue right now? Is one of these maps a strength for the squad?
Yeah, I think ZETA is going to bring it to Midtown. Like, on the other end, if this were Space Station's pick, I think they would have tried to do Eichenwald because of more close-range areas. Midtown, you can get a lot of value off the Illari. You can get a lot of value off of just the set plays that ZETA likes to do. I think Hollywood is a small possibility, but I personally think we're going Midtown.
Space Station Gaming lost to Fnatic on that Game 5 in groups on Eichenwald. Is there anything you could learn from that VOD watching the Doomfist? Is there anything else that you could expect to see in this? Because we got a few moments before our coaches make their picks, Jake.
I mean, I think whatever you want to play, I wouldn't mind seeing Fearless on a main tank, but to be honest, I don't think Hollywood's a bad choice at all. We really have barely seen it this tournament. Almost every team has gone to Ike or Midtown. But for me, this series, this matchup, Hollywood has a ton of verticality. Second point, third point. First is a little bit slower, maybe with some of those poke heroes a little bit more easily online, but honestly, I have a lot of faith in Fearless. Maybe that map didn't go his way, but I think ultimately the bans didn't set him up for success. I think leave the D.Va in the pool. Like, leave all the dive heroes in the pool. If you are a ZETA Division, you have to welcome a dive mirror. Don't try to ban it out. Let it come and be confident that you are going to win out in the end. And for that, I think it really is up to them, their scrim experience. Where do they feel most confident? Like I said, I wouldn't mind the Hollywood, even though we haven't seen too much of it. Ike, not a bad choice. I think, honestly, any of these are great. In the end, the problem, though, for ZETA is there's only one map type left. The 5th map pick in the series is just the weakest one, right? Of all the maps to pick,
right,
you get the least value here. So ZETA in an uncomfortable spot. They're getting a map pick, but you really want to win, secure yourself an advantage here going into that potential Game 6, Game 7.
So ZP called Midtown. You called Hollywood. Let's reveal the map behind us, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we going? You did it again. Babylon Hotel tells me we're going to Hollywood, Jake.
Let me cook. Let me cook.
So, can you name the bands?
Name the bands. Ooh, okay.
Putting him on the spot. He crushed it, map.
I wouldn't mind to see. I'm not
hardest.
sure if a Baptiste has already been banned. I can't
go ahead and say yes.
Top of my head. But if it has already been banned, maybe I guess they can't ban it again. But wouldn't mind see just preventing Landon from getting on that hero. He is such a monster on it. Just shutting that down, securing, like, let's play a dive mirror. That's, for me, the direction I want to see ZETA go, but there's different bans that could accomplish it.
BAP has not been banned by ZETA Division. Sorry, it was definitely Funny Astro's Lucio, the other support that has been banned, and we saw BAP banned in the previous matchup. But ZP, what are your expectations? If you're ZETA Division, what are you trying to remove? Do you agree with the BAP?
I mean, the BAP could be a good ban. What I'm thinking right now is what's going to be banned against ZETA Division. And I think Ashe is super, super good right now. And also especially a great hero in Hollywood, probably more of a strength to ZETA. So I really think you either protect your Ashe if you're ZETA, or if you're Space Station, you get the Ashe out of there.
Lots of decisions to make if you're the coaching staff. This is the Game 5. This is where you're truly going to pivot in a best-of-7. Will ZETA Division be able to pull out in the lead? They took map number 1, and we've just been going back and forth ever since, Jake. Is this going to be potential 6 maps, or do you think we're going 7 at this point?
I feel like 7's very possible. You got to remember, if ZETA do win this, you know, on the other side, Space Station Gaming, they're going to have all 5 modes open back up. Yes, you can't replay your strongest maps, but you will have a lot of power for that map 6 pick to force a Game 7. So right now, ZETA, you got to win this to give yourself that reliable Game 7. At this point, you're getting a little bit worried.
We've already played 4 game modes. The final one here out of 5 is going to be hybrid. You have to unlock the point, then push the car. And this is a map that's been in here since Overwatch 1. So all 10 of these players on the stage, very familiar. And they're saying, let's get rid of life.
Actually, this is even smarter. You don't need to ban the BAP. You just need to protect your Ana. You save the BAP ban for a potential Game 7. Masterful by ZETA.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. We're at the point now where the Protect bans come into play. And look, I don't hate the Orisa ban either. It's a strong hero on this map, and it's one of Bernar's best. Even though we haven't seen a whole lot of Orisa in the tournament, it's something that maybe could have come out, especially on point A.
It's an interesting ban, honestly. I don't love this ban. I don't think it's really a necessary hero for anyone. People have been playing it against the Mauga, but for my money, it hasn't really been working, even though theoretically it's a decent matchup.
They're banning 2 heroes we haven't seen yet today. We'll see who comes out on top. Reminder, ZETA only able to choose from our 3 hybrid maps. They choose Hollywood, and the map is ready to go. So let's send it upstairs to Ilios and Avril. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Yes, let us jump into this. Hollywood, a rare sight here in this tournament, has not been played very much at all.
Yep.
And with the limited options remaining, we will go ahead and jump into the hills of California.
I was waiting for Ilios. I said in the segment there could be a Lifeweaver throwaway ban, and that's exactly what you see ZETA do here, because you have to protect the backline. So agreed on all fronts in terms of that comment. Orisa, I think it's another throwaway ban. Essentially, you have ZETA just wanting to make sure if you want to play dive, Brigana's available. And for Space Station, you remove one of the Malga counters, but you haven't removed the main one, which is the Diva. However, Fearless is in, so it ends up working out for them. For people that forget, the bans happen first, then the rosters are decided. So ZETA could have swapped Burner in if they wanted to. They opt to keep Fearless because they really want to play towards the Winston. But look at the read here. On the defense, Hardy spawns on a Malga. He already knows, he already believes it's either going to be a Ball or a Winston. And so he's just going to get ready with the Malga early on. He's actually hiding the Malga result. Once we go over towards the point, you'll see that he doesn't want to reveal it too early, but eventually they will find out.
Yeah, quick peek out there from Psycho to go ahead and confirm it. Not that they hadn't already heard the Winston. As Fearless leaps up, gets himself situated onto the high ground as Sparker getting knocked back, but punish cannot be found. HP bar is going to be going low, but the ante on the 2 is absolutely brilliant. And that sets up for it. Ben able to nail him. Kills come across.
That's going to be the cleanup now. Space Station. What a Byron coming through from Finn to secure that one. Hardy trying to run around the other side of the map and just runs into his death. Once again, it's Alpha E on the Farah. We're pulling a decent amount of weight here. As long as Fearless doesn't get burned up by the Malga, Alpha E should be able to play through. Sparker, so on that cast, there's a lot of work here to do. Brigana, that was a choice for the backline. Protected by the Lifeweaver ban. ZETA Division piling it through to B.
They're just trying to knock them off this high ground, displace as much as possible. Alpha Yeet right back over to Comfort. Sparker, pressure on him. Try and get this far out of the sky.
Just move the payload along for now. Bait Hardy onto low ground. Remember, Malga, no high ground, low ground plate to be found, as we have potentially a technical issue here. But you have a situation where far more mobility coming out through the side of ZETA Division. They have the stronger comp, despite Malga being a good Winston counter. I don't think this is a good map for Malga, just given the map design. That being said, when we move to C point, this is where Hardy's Malga opens up. So you get into a situation now where B should be pretty simple for ZETA Division. They have the better comp, they have the time, they have the momentum. They're going to get first ultimates after winning the neutral. But if you're Space Station, the goal is you must hold C. If you cannot hold C versus this Winston composition, this map is not going to go their way. It's going to be a ZETA win.
Alrighty, well, as we wait to get word, we'll report to you guys once we finish, figure out what is going to be going on. But for now, looks like we are just going to find ourselves here in hopefully a quick pause.
Yeah, I mean, we just open up A point going over towards B now, and you to sort of talk about some things mentioned on desk. I think this is a reasonably good choice coming through from ZETA Division. I also think that both teams understand this series could go the distance. You know, we're guaranteed a map 6, could even go to map 7. So the fact that we're using throwaway bans now means you are getting ready for the map 6 turnaround, where if you guys forget, once map 6 happens, which is guaranteed to do, the entire map pool opens up again. You can choose out of any game mode and out of any map that hasn't been previously chosen. So it's far more important to save your good bans for maps 6 and 7. Using them on map 5 is probably not the greatest idea, which is why both of our bans for this map, I would say, are throwaway bans.
Yeah, so you know, the metagaming is there. The teams, they've started at this point very much to figure out how to really play around with this system.
Yeah.
But, you know, has taken a little while for some of the teams. Some of them never really kind of figured that one out. And
or it takes them a while, you know. Maybe you'll make a mistake here or there. It'll take you a little bit to get in there.
Those ones, they've already had their keys crushed. But I'm seeing some ready checks here in the lobby, so I think that we should be good to just about get ready. We should be good to get ready to go back into this one here shortly, I do believe. As I think,
But not before Puckett has something to say.
Never mind. We have to. Yeah, Puckett's got to get a word in. Never mind.
Or maybe not. Not before.
Never mind.
Not before
Puckett doesn't need to get a
lie
word.
to the audience a little bit. No, don't worry about that. We'll get back in the game at some point, but you know they'll sort the issues out. A little bit of technical issues happening today, specifically in this game. You know. Who knows what is actually really happening at this stage. It's just the SSG players having a little bit of shenanigans. Let's change out some mics here or there again. But I do think this is a very interesting series now because we are guaranteed map 6. I think the capability to go to map 7 is extremely high.
Yes.
You do want to have the lead here. You would ideally like to be the team. I mean, this sounds obvious, but not only just getting the lead in the series, but you want to be the team that has pick of map priority and also ban priority for map 7 if it goes to map 7. So being able to essentially be in the lead and be at like match point will give you that if we go the distance.
Well, we're back into the action. Quick little fix there. Now let's see how Space Station tries to hold things down here on this beat push. For now, Fearless playing down onto the card. Psycho just trying to intercept as much as possible. Keep the blocks into position, but as you say, Hottie going to be dropping down onto that low ground. Landon eating a bit of damage here. As rockets continue to fly across. And okay, Fearless just going to be Goomba stomping Psycho. Now I'll push forward. Sparker trying to find the punish, but he is overstepped. Everybody else spilling forward here off the back of this one. Hottie kind of leading them down into their graves. Shield will be raised by Violet. Does get stomped, does get taken low, but ultimately they're looking for a stagger as the cart's already moving forward.
You know, the problem here is you have an SGC squad playing Amalgam on the high ground, which is great because you want to deny the high ground, but who is protecting the payload? It's Psycho's job. As soon as Psycho dies, if you don't drop down and aggress on top of ZETA, they get a free push. ZETA don't have to push. Fearless doesn't have to jump into you. They can just free push. So that's why Sparker, Hottie, and everyone else decide to drop down as a team. You lost your Tracer, you must contest.
A little bit of damage there on the Finn Psycho. Slinking around the flanks here. Does have that pulse bomb ready to go, but it's going to be another nano here on towards Alpha Yeet. Does get stunned up for a brief little moment. The bomb's going to be arrested from Flora. Psycho finds a really nice little kill coming through. Violet under pressure. Rally going to be popped. Barrage comes out, but Alfie only going to be able to find one before getting interrupted and taken down here by Sparker. So man advantage very much is here for the side of Space Station, but their HP bars are suffering. Primal comes through. Sparker juggled up against the wall, cleaved down as Fearless, finds himself 4 kills and gets the cap on B.
The best Winston player of all time is not going to miss any of that. It's Primal available. You didn't get to force it out earlier. A and B have been a big role, but like I said, during that break, C is where the money is at. Space Station cannot allow ZETA to finish this map. They have now the superior composition, I believe, for this final part.
Let's see though if they can find their footing, because that's been lacking. That last fight, the closest one that we've really had so far, and it was still Fearless murdering them and getting that B cap. So now 4.5 minutes as we get ready to round the final corner here on this C stretch. Hottie, the cage, ready to go. As Alfie continuing to just rain those rockets down from above.
Have to be really careful here as well. Fearless could bait your cage and jump out. Your cage is coming.
Looking for it, but they're able to shield bash away.
Fearless jumping straight away.
Okay, well, there's the trap. So Fearless does end up getting caught, does get taken down. Cage for the kill for some semblance of stability.
Every single time you have Cage, should be an instant kill to Fearless. Now, note that Orisa has been banned, so this is where I think ZETA might have been, you know, you take a risk by leaving Fearless in here, and Chris says, leave Fearless in here. If you do, we're going to remove one of the major Malga counters, and I don't think Fearless can play a D.Va, so what can Fearless do if the Winston doesn't work out? ZETA still really want to finish this map, and they kind of need to if they want to win.
Fearless on the jump forward, but Flora going to be traded out. HP getting willed away out in the back lines. Psycho doing wonders here for the team. As Alfie similarly going to be staggered, and this is just a brutal time by here now. Something that Space Station desperately needed.
I mean, 3 minutes more of this, I believe it. I think Space Station can do 3 more minutes of this ZETA. This is the opportunity, Nano, for either Fearless or Alpha E. Alpha E is the one that will get you the damage, but Fearless is the one that will make you space. So it's a hard choice for Finn. Regardless, though, you have a lot of ultimates. However, if you burn too many ultimates here, you're still not capping because the payload distance is really poor.
A lot of damage there on the Violet. Psycho continuing to be huge there in that back line as beat comes through off the back of the Nano. Alpha E not really able to aggress off the back of this now. Still does hold on to the barrage, but needs to wait. Needs to be careful for a very crucial moment. Violet down to 1 HP. Shield basher on the Psycho, and somehow Violet being sustained back up the full. Bomb going to be cleared at the barrage again, coming through. Alpha E able to find one. Hottie going to be taken down, but he's able to go ahead and get rid of Alpha E at the same time. But tankless now on the side of Space Station Gaming. Landon eliminated. This Flora finds one. Fearless continuing to push forward, looking for a little bit more and get some contained back over here towards the spawn room doors.
Do they have enough though? Primal's available. Can they get that into action? Flora down is not good. So ZETA Division, they're backing out. They're losing momentum. That could have been maybe the push. I mean, they had 5 members alive. Okay. A little bit more cleanup here for SSG. 2 more minutes. The payload being this far is both a good and bad thing because it will now remove Alpha Yi's Farah. He's going to have to swap the Echo. Farah, very poor gameplay, I think, on the very end of the point. The sort of like alleyways through here and this Hollywood set, still okay for the Farah, but once you actually get onto the cap itself, yeah, you got to swap off.
Spotted on the 1. The sticky bombs, smattering of damage going to be found, but it's going to be a long way to go to try to get that dupe online. Just under 2 minutes now here for the side of ZETA Division. Nearly half the time bank taken away here from them. We'll be able to occupy this interior high ground, though, for the moment. I believe a recall actually burned there by Psycho. Hottie still playing forward. Cage at the ready. Anti on the Spark are going to be cleansed off. Fearless now popping the Primal Rage to Deadeye there to try to juggle him around. He dives back. Leaps in with the rest of the team. Sticky bombs from Alpha Yi, able to find one. Now Alpha Yi coming up with another. Farah being damned. He is still good as long as he is in the skies. Sound barrier committed from Funny Astro. Cage now going to be dropped in, but Hottie taking a sleep. Antied out. Funny Astro dead. The cleanup comes through. The push continuing, and it will be to completion. 1 minute and 14 seconds left. ZETA Division, they get to the end of Hollywood.
Yeah, they force it through there, and Alpha Yi doing work on their Echo. It's a fresh swap, and he ends it with 80% charge. ZETA Division doing exactly as required here to be able to win the map, and now for SSG, it's troublesome. This is really, really rough because they were banking on that C-point defense to carry them through on this map. The Malgut wasn't going to have a lot of impact on A or B, but for C, they held for so long, they did so well until the pressure just mounted, the ultimates came on through. A sound barrier for Funny Astro catching only 2, and then when Hardy's the last one alive, essentially you throw everything onto him. Sleep Dart, Bionade, Cage, not going to help you in this situation. Spacestation could be looking at a ZETA Division match point. If they don't get their act together for this point, as this map rather, as attacking Malga will be pretty rough. Hardy knows it, he's already on the Winston, but can you really play a Winston mirror into the greatest of all time on the Winston Fearless?
It's a solid enough question here. I think for now it might just be a flash, but I'm anticipating a changeup, but maybe I'm incorrect. Opening pot shot here from the Widowmaker. 10 seconds to go ahead and finalize things. See what Space Station do land on, but they need to have a strong attack coming into this one. Looks like we're going to go ahead and listen into Space Station Gaming now.
3, 2, 1, swing 1. Monkey here. I go 1 left, I go 1 left. Yeah, okay. Going left, going left.
Okay.
Getting left, get ready to go main, get ready to...
Walking left.
Yeah.
I'm staying
ready,
main.
can you stay main now?
Ready, 3, 2, 1.
Walking backline. Break one, monkey, sweep them, sweep them, they're 5, they're 5. Push, I go behind.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, all 1.
Ash one, pick one. Get we can trade.
Yeah. Ash one.
All one.
Okay, that was really good, guys.
Yeah. They're close now. I've curled in.
Close now.
All right, well, the first volley going to be staved off there, about a minute burn. They're able to get themselves up to that first tick, but ultimately ZETA Division able to stand their ground. You heard it right there. Everyone saying all one, but they couldn't quite confirm them.
Only for a moment, though. Everyone was low for a while for ZETA Division, but Finn and Violet was still there, so the AoE healing, the strong AoE healing, especially from Violet, keeps everyone alive. And they don't get any trades. Even 1 kill would have been good there. Hardy now antied out. Nothing to save him. No Suzu.
Yeah, it's off CD. It's on CD, I should say. And Hardy does get taken down. Cannot exit. And now the cleanup continues as ults start coming online here to further exacerbate things for Space Station on the attack.
This is just the problem, right? You get into a situation where Hollywood finally comes through. ZETA Division know that they're the vastly superior dive team. I mean, even the fact that Space Station are on a Lucio Kiriko here, they don't have the confidence to play the Brigana because you can't match Finn and Violet on the Brigana, but you would like to play the Brigana as that's the superior ult combination, hero combination for the Winston.
Sticky bomb Bombs across, not finding too much there. Dupe online, Primal, the beat. Two things lacking at the moment here for Spacestation Gaming. Kitsune Rush going to be opened up first as the Nano goes across. Alpha Yi receiving that one, trying to go and tool again. Psycho, who goes for the dupe here onto the farm, trying to get a barrage. Quickly built up. He's up and over the top, but only halfway there. Drops down. A bit of damage coming through. Flora going to be surrounded, eliminated. Kill is found, but Dupe now going to expire as Alpha Yi is able to break that one down. Funny Astro going to be taken down. Support's gone here on the side of Zeta Division, but the point not being ticked up. A minute and a half remaining. Fearless still alive, healthy, and has that Primal. The barrage as well in the back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, Alpha Yi can do so much here, but it's the Primals. That's what we have to talk about. It shouldn't be a point loss. Fearless going to go for it.
Pops it, forces out that swift step, forces out the blinks. Looking to just try to gatekeep, knock them back here off this point. Second tick, getting ready to come through the contest, still maintained, but Primal going to be expiring here from Fearless, and Hadi has one of his own to try to go ahead and further extend this one.
2 ticks now. Hadi's still thinking about it. They need players down. They need to just get some kills here.
Return coming through, sleep on the Hadi, no way to try to hit the person, but no, never mind, Alpha Yi. He's got it with a barrage. Trade out there on the wings of the Funny Astro, going to be taken down as well. The trade up there for the side of Zeta Division. Looking for a bit more as they maintain control. 88.1% built up, but they're going to have to go again. They're going to have to give it another try. Because right now, Zeta Division, they managed to hold out hope of getting a full hold.
Just didn't think about the fact that Alpha Yi was going to come on in. Hadi should have probably been holding down the Q button, but you can't react in time when Alpha Yi appears. You just instantly die. You're sleeping. So this is now... Hadi catches another sleep out. They got 3 opens online though. Can they get Violet down?
They're trying for it, and they will be able to get him. Hadi able to claim that kill in the end. Fearless as well, similarly taken low, and Finn cleaved down before he can try to commit in with that Nano. So full hold not going to be achieved, but still Zeta Division doing a fantastic job of working this time bank low as Alpha Yi tries to escape.
Putting the pressure onto Violet there. Good decision in my opinion. Finn the last support alive for that fight. Probably couldn't even see Fearless, but even if he does, Fearless would have a Nano and would have no supports left. So, A, taken. Could have been a full hold. Spacestation, sigh of relief. First hurdle has been cleared. Now for the second hurdle. And remember, the reverse of what I said earlier is true. If Spacestation get onto C, they can go Malga again. They have a good matchup there, but you have to get past B. And this is hard.
They only have 210 to try to make it happen. Damage across onto Fearless. Bubbles used. Psycho, Dupe at the ready. Kitsune Rush here for Landon as well. Nearly have that support ultimate advantage here, do SSG.
Nano still in play. Zeta can go at any point. No high ground control for Spacestation whatsoever. As Alpha Yi rules the skies here. They're happy to just slow things down. Speaking of slowing down, the payload is very slow at this point in time as the 5-man beat comes through.
No, I mean, an attempt at the coach gun there, trying to knock him off the high ground, delay that beat from coming through. Pulse bomb lopped down at the floor, and Finn stands right on top of it. Alpha Yi eliminated. Psycho finds him with the sticky bombs. Ultimately, the fight looking good here for the side of SSG. Can continue moving forward. Still some distance, however, to cover. Sparker just going to be taken down by the Dynamite in the back end.
Yep. It's a good fight, but remember, the payload distance is really poor for Spacestation. They've really not had a lot of time to move things, so Zeta Division have another hold coming on through. This time with a decent amount of ultimates. Nearly the 5, especially if they can really just wait for it. Oh, Alpha Yi is in a lot of trouble. That Nano.
The Nano coming through from Finn absolutely spares him his blushes as the direct hit on the Psycho, breaking the Dupe, getting the kill. That's clean stuff. Alpha Yi making the most out of that Nano. As Finn give him a second lease on life. The cart once again going to be halted. 57 seconds now remaining. Hadi trying to get up towards that next primal. Flora going to be taken down. Sparker able to find one, but then Alpha Yi equalizes, and that's advantage here for Zeta.
Yeah, I mean, look at the time remaining. 35 seconds. Spacestation is still going to go for this one. Hadi wants the primal. Can he find anything? Psycho at least gets Alpha Yi that space created. Remember, Zeta have more else. Fearless primals as well.
Has it. He's going to be lasting now for a hell of a lot longer as Hadi's expires. Rally for Violet, ready to roll. Support ults from SSG, a world away. Pulse bomb from Sparker, the next closest thing that they have, and he's going to need that to be big.
You have to mark Alpha Yi here. The barrage killed Hadi before. He'll do it again if Suzu's not available, if Psycho's not there to stop him. Zeta Division can clean it up here. Violet saw on the rally. Great defensive ultimates and the Bob, even better.
Fearless maintaining control here of that high ground. Psycho forcing him back down. Mega Pack is going to be snatched up. We're now into the end game, the overtime. Starting to bleed down. Flora finds a headshot. Landon. Corpse falls to the floor. Anti on the Hadi. The shield bash from Violet sets up for the kill. Psycho gone. Flora just painting the kill feed orange as he finds all but one. and that will be ZETA Division picking up the victory here on Hollywood, taking the lead once more. But if we've learned anything from this series so far, it's that we're pretty much destined to go to 7.
Yeah, I know. I mean, 6 is guaranteed, but I think 7 is a possibility here as well.
Doors opened up.
The bitter pill to swallow here, I think, if you are SSG, is knowing that, okay, even if you had defended C properly, you didn't allow the full cap to come through. Unfortunately, it didn't matter here because you didn't cap B. SSG had to have capped B, but they're just not as good on the Winston matchup. So the Malga, it's a good Winston counter, but not for most parts of this map. ZETA knew it. They weren't scared of it this time. They kept Fearless in. They said, you know what, we'll just beat you in the Winston, and the difference in the dive is staggering. You're just simply not going to beat Winston on that Winston. You're not going to beat Fearless on the Winston. And as we head into map 6 now, the entire map pool opens for SSG. But if we go to 7, it flips the other way around and ZETA gets the last pick.
And you correct yourself, but I don't think you need to. I think you could refer to Fearless as Winston at this point. This guy has been one of the greatest in the world. So, yeah, you can't beat Winston on Winston at all. But let's go ahead and pass it back down to the analyst to break down the action here for Hollywood and get us set up for maybe an extension into a final map.
Thank you, fellas. And I think this one a little bit faster than we expected, Jake. We didn't go the distance, as it seemed to be a bit of a tank difference in this one.
Yeah, you know, Fearless, he just looks so good. And I mean, Winston on Hollywood, I bet Fearless has played this map 1,000 times with that hero. And you saw it on the map. I mean, he was just impossible to kill, impossible to catch. You win like a couple fights here and there. Okay, if we mount, we can cage him, we can stop him. But you need some serious firepower to shut down Fearless. And you just don't have that every single fight.
Now, ZP, we had an awesome listen in there. We were listening to Hadi as he was trying to set up the push on the first point. Why were they stalling out? Why wasn't that working out for him?
I just think it's not a tank composition that Hadi and them are really comfortable on Hollywood. I think from the get-go, ZETA put them in a terrible position. The map pick, as Jake predicted, was very, very good for ZETA. They had to sort of engage in ways that were not optimal. And, you know, again, it comes down to the Winston v. Winston matchup for a lot of this, too, is that you put Fearless versus Hadi. You know, Hadi's competent on the Winston, but it's Fearless on the other side. This is a very, very difficult matchup for anyone in Overwatch, let alone Hadi, who usually plays more brawly tanks.
Jake, back in my day on Hollywood, I too was a Pharah. Is Alpha Yi the best Pharah in this tournament?
I think he's up there with anyone on the hero. Super solid, got a lot of experience on the hero in the last meta where Pharah was super dominant, and he's still making it work, making it sing really against Spacestation Gaming. And really, it's an interesting selection, playing the Ashe and the Pharah together. Very greedy, really puts a ton of pressure. You see Landon, I mean, visceral reaction.
Yes.
Dying first in the final fight on flex support. That's as bad as it gets, and I feel for him there. It's a tough spot to be in.
You can see the man's frustration. On the other side, elation for ZETA Division. They get the 5th map pick. It wasn't ideal to be in this position to be choosing on map number 5 because you only have one game mode. But they get the map they want, and they pull off the W. So that means ball is back in Space Station's court. What did you learn in this series, though, especially this most recent game, ZP?
I think what you've learned is that the map you go to and the tank matchup you set up with the bands mean all the difference in the world to both of these teams. They have highly differing styles, and the great news right now, if you're Space Station, is you get to choose from any of the maps available, and you still have the Ana ban in the back pocket to get the Winston out of there.
Pretty cool stuff. We'll see when that comes out. Jake, do you use it now?
I think you have to, because the Bat ban is still in reserve. Remember, we've been highlighting how good Landon is on the Baptiste, how well that hero fits into the identity of Space Station Gaming and ZETA. For a potential map 7, almost certainly will be banning Baptiste out. I would be shocked if they don't. And so if you're Space Station, this is the last time you'll get first ban in the series. I think you've got to use the Ana ban right now. It is a powerful tool, but you don't want to end the series without having it expended.
Difference of $40,000 whether you win or lose in this series, and right now it is match point for ZETA. We'll find out, though. Will Space Station Gaming be able to find a winner? There's 5 new modes open again, and we're going to Control, I'm told. So let's take a look at what map we are going to select. Knowing it's Control, what do you think's the best matchup? I see it behind us. Lijiang, baby.
This one's obvious. I mean, Space Station Gaming, Lijiang Tower, Rush comps. This is a classic strategy in Overwatch 2. It's just the best strategy on the map. To be honest, I'm a little worried for ZETA. I think this will be going Game 7 because this is just a great spot for Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, and you think of what Spacestation likes. They love running the Sim. Sim is great on Lijiang. They love running the Mei. Mei is great on Lijiang. All their pocket picks, including Hadi's favorite tanks, their DPS's favorite heroes, it's all good for them. So yeah, this pick makes all the sense in the world.
Now, what about Flora? Because Flora was popping off with the Ashe, right? Having some huge multi-kills. Could you still play the Ashe against that composition that we've seen so far from Spacestation?
It could be tough because some of these maps on Lijiang Tower, if you get in position on Ashe, you could be effective, but it's so hard to come through those chokes, and you better believe Spacestation does not give up ground for free on these maps. If you play these greedy long-range heroes, they're going to jump right on top of you, and that Lucio is protected. You know Funny Astro is going to be on his comfort.
Is there any chance we see a tank switch-up coming in from ZETA Division?
No, I mean, I think it'll be complicated for them if the Ana is banned, because then they probably don't want to play the Winston. But overall, I mean, if they try and mirror what we're going to see from Space Station, they're probably going to lose. So they still have to play something that's a little bit more in their wheelhouse.
I wouldn't mind seeing Fearless on the Wrecking Ball, perhaps. I mean, I think the Winston could be effective. I think Fearless does have the versatility to play the right dive takes, but I agree. I don't think you want to take the dive mirror, or rather the rush mirror. I think if you're ZETA, you want to kind of somehow find a way. Again, this isn't the most important map to win in the series. This is going to be a tough one for you, ZETA. But can you find a win with Fearless popping up? That's always a possibility.
It was a big Bernard weekend, but he has been on the bench as Fearless has been in, and Doomfist is going to be the Space Station Gaming ban. So that Baptiste not protected necessarily here. They're making sure they don't get punched in the face.
We haven't seen that yet from Fearless in the series, but Doom, we know he can play the hero very well, can be incredibly disruptive when Sim wants to teleport around the map. So I think wisely chosen from Space Station Gaming, but the Sim ban, one of the last powerful tools.
Does this break what you're trying to do here if you're SSG?
It certainly complicates things. Now you're going to have to do these long walks to point, a lot of openings to get pounded by a nade coming in from Finn, and he's really been great with that.
Yeah, pure and simple. Space Station always runs Sim on Lijiang Tower, so you have looked at the game film here. You have said, I know one of your key pieces that you run no matter what, and you don't get to use it.
And knowing the ban system, we talked to Christopher. He said, we've practiced a few different things. We knew it was going to get weird. You got to wonder, what does he have up his sleeve? Space Station trying to force a Game 7. If not, it's ZETA Division joining Crazy Raccoon in our round of 4. We got the map loading up, so it's time to set it upstairs. Take it away, Avril. What do you got for me, Ilios?
I've got potentially 2 more maps, but that is very much at the behest of SSG to see whether or not they want to deliver on that front. Taking us now into Lijiang Tower, control to potentially close this out. The Sim ban, that's pretty huge.
Well, it's the only one remaining. I mean, there could be that or the bat, but it says to me that ZETA prioritize getting rid of the Sim with the TPs. BAP, they're happy to play into. Here's the problem, though. Alpha's already locked in the Fire. You know what else is really good on Lijiang Tower except for Rheinkops? It's Alpha's Fire. So how will you shut that down? Because that's been a problem every single map for SSG. And because we're starting on Night Market, it's an ideal place for the Fire. Here's what needs to happen. SSG need to win Control Center round. Has to happen. 100% they need to win that one. But they have to win one of Night Market and Garden as well. And for their money, I think Night Market is better for them. So if SSG want to take this map 7, I believe, truly, in my opinion, this map has to go SSG, and then Control Center has to go SSG, minimum.
All right, well, let us see if they're going to be able to deliver on that front. Saw a flash of the Junker Queen at the very beginning, but Fearless back over onto the Winston. It was an absolute menace on Hollywood. See if he can replicate that to bring this to a conclusion here on Lijiang Tower. For now, inside track over onto the point. SSG occupying and looking for the first lockdown here. But you're going to be held at bay as Nancy into the back, only connecting onto Sparker. Brief little moment of contention there as Coach Gunn bails him out of a otherwise embarrassing death.
You have to be ready for the multi-angle dive here as well. Alfie should be on an off angle just about every single time here right now. He'll land on top of Hardy, who is currently bionated out. And a quick charge straight into the Immortality Field. It's going to end up saving the life of Space Station, but for ZETA, that gives them some time and space to work on the point.
Swapping position here before, forced a recall out, cannot try to confirm that kill onto Sparker. Would have been a high-value target, but now Hadi, he's overstepped. Here into the corner, Alfie taking him down. Flora will be traded out as Sparker finds that kill, but Alfie similarly to the previous performances, building up towards that barrage very rapidly, now just 10% away. Nano, first and foremost there from Finn, goes over on towards Fearless, seeking Landon, seeking to try to take down that Immortality Field. It's a bit of a fadeaway zap as he gets the kill and gets out.
You have to be really careful here because a spawn camp could be disastrous. You have Alfie in the skies, Funny Astro now down late, double support's gone. Hardy's on point, he's about to die here as well. He needs to charge back, but he's only got one of them. Is he safe?
Psycho just resetting.
Yeah, he needs to as well. I mean, there's a chance that Psycho could have just off-angled there and stayed alive. He might have been spotted and just said, you know what, I'd rather reset, which is smart. 4 ultimates online for ZETA, and that's the part that really hurt Space Station because, well, ZETA didn't really spend much to get that point. There's also 4 ultimates online for Space Station as well, for both teams now, as Hardy, he's given up on the Malga.
He is, but Sparker going to be taken down again. That anti coming through. Finn connecting onto the Ash, taking away one of those potential ultimates here. As Fearless just sat up above. Rockets flying through from Alfie, just looking to go ahead and continue to chip away at them. They've got a good idea at this point that they're going to have the support ultimates, so they can find a straight pick. It's going to be good.
Hardy swapped to the Diva. They're basically going to dive here. We're back onto Hollywood. It's another dive versus dive matchup. Space Station, they can't win the series doing this. They have to find a win on a brawl somehow. Otherwise, you need Psycho, Sparker, Hardy. Somebody has to step up massively, shut down Alfie and Fearless, but that's just so hard to do.
60% here on the point. The wrap back around from ZETA Division, but now inside track is set. Flip going to be threatened, and Ant Matrix can come into play. Anti, however, out on the 2. Sound Barrier comes through from Funny Astro trying to save them. Violet drops the beat, but Fearless down low. Has that Nano. Alpha with a barrage, able to find one, but Sparker shuts it down. Swing around the backhand side. Funny Astro ends up getting caught, but Fearless has got nowhere to go. Mega Pack not available, so Sparker able to claim the tank. Flip is there. Space Station now in control, but can they retain is the question. With Flora going down like that, seems like the answer is trending towards yes.
Yeah, a huge couple of kills coming through from Sparker there.
Oh, Violet might be dead.
Finn swapped over towards the Kiriko here as well. Alfie now over towards the Venture, so we're actually going to give up onto the Fire. That's respect being given over to the Diva. Alfie doesn't want to play the Fire into the Diva, so this is the first time I think they've successfully forced Alfie to swap.
Yeah, not wanting to try to ham fist the Fire again without having those nanos perhaps alongside it. Granted, he wasn't the recipient of the first one. That being said, we'll see how he's going to be faring here with that Venture. Fearless going to be taken down. Sparker again having his number, finding that elimination. Key here as Space Station now find themselves in the lead, 80% about to be crested. Alfie dead, Finn low on HP, grabbed a health pack, but for now, ZETA Division going to be held at bay and they are running out of time.
I don't think ZETA Division was necessarily losing. The swaps, to me, weren't necessary. Now they really are losing, 90% for SSG. And like I said, this is one of the required rounds, in my opinion, for SSG to win if they want to take away the map.
Somebody's going to have to go. Flora likely they'll be the one to try to go for the touch. Fearless swooping around the backhand side. The back cap attempt is there. Overtime going to be forced out. Alfie coming out of the burrow.
Fearless!
Fearless is just going to be eliminated. Sparker again, finding him how many times in a row. Post bomb lob down. Alfie going to be taken out. Kill found. Psycho, 52 HP, dead. Violet does manage to finish him off. Beat going to be dropped in. Catches on the 2. Flora trying to stay alive, trying to break down something here for the team. And now there's just an Ant Matrix here in their face. Quick little peek over to the side. Violet gone. Finn dead. Fearless going to be respawning, rejoining. Doesn't get the touch. They managed to go ahead and blink forward, but Flora going to be giving his life for that one. An extension, but nothing else found. 169% opening round goes the way of Space Station.
That is poor from ZETA, just in the service of the fact that they swapped off something that I thought was really working. And just by the way, you want to update on the in-match chat right now in terms of the trash talk. Psycho says, all chat, you are not winning to the entire team of ZETA Division. I mean, that's how badly SSG won this one. Sparker really stepped up here, but I'll be honest with you, Brig Anna, even Lucio Anna, that's ideal for the team of ZETA. I mean, you need to be pocketing Fearless. You don't want Fearless to go over to a ball. You want him to play Winston here. I don't think Hardy's Diva is that threatening that Alpha feels the need to swap off of the Fire. Yeah, Sparky hit some shots, but you're playing Lijiang. You can play infinite angles here. This is ZETA Division's opportunity. Gardens is really, really good for Fire. I think Garden, out of the 3 rounds, is the best for Fire.
We saw the flash of the Diva initially from Hardy before we, hand over to the in-game view here, but opposite go for the Ramatra. Fearless going to be sticking to that Wrecking Ball, though.
Could be a mistake. We'll see. Fearless needs to really prove himself on the ball. I think he's a good ball, but he's not on that Jumbin level. He's not on that Donglak level either. Can ZETA Division really pilot the ball to success?
Well, solid opening kill as Violet. A couple stray headshots across, connect onto Sparker. He was an absolute menace in the opening round there on Night Market, so getting rid of him nice and early is going to be big. Landon as well, similarly going to be taken down, and that means that the rest of the team can fall to the wayside as Hadi will get cleaned up. Nice direct hits there. Good tracking from Alfie. is able to take out Funny Astro. So opening volley once more going the way of ZETA Division.
You can see the brawl here is just rough for Space Station. Hardy going back over towards Amalga as expected. At least Amalga brawl works out for you. There's no sim, so the Rhine might not be able to be played here until at least Control Center. But here we go into another situation where you need Sparker to hit some shots onto Alfie. I think the Fearless ball is less threatening than Winston, so maybe Hardy's matchup here improves.
Couple taps, Violent down to half. Funny Astro in the lead towards that beat, but only by about 10%. Finn, however, surging towards that first Kitsune rush, now just 10% away.
Yep.
This floor going to be noted. Alfie continuing to poke and prod through the window. Fearless spotted here on the backside. You can see just how many angles Sparker continuously needs to try to clear out. Shielding going to be coming through. Immortality Field going to be dropped down. Swiftly cleared out, and Fearless dead. Sparker finding that kill, but then Finn strikes, finding him, Landon eliminated. ZETA Division now moving up past 50%. The Space Station, you're gonna have to reset and go once more, but Psycho at risk of having a very late death.
Just gotta put the pressure onto Sparker if you're ZETA Division. That gives Alpha E free reign. That gives Flora free reign for the most part here as well. 62%. A lot of ultimates. It's not just the cap percentage of killers, it's the fact that ZETA Division spent nothing for. They're just a Kitsune rush. They still have so many ultimates to play through. And SSG are still yet to solve the problem of Alpha E. It requires Hardy to maybe go deeper, but then if you do that, your comp is worse.
Well, there is the barrage here on the bridge. Hottie going to be down about half HP. Beat was dropped in, but shielding not going to be found here. Hottie dead as Alfie collects two. Looking for a little bit more. Psycho just going to be sent off the side of the map. Once again, having to reset, but the time is just not there. 89% for ZETA.
This is why I said this is the losable one. Night Market was the required win for SSG. Control Center is a required win. Garden was always going to be heavily ZETA favored. So they played well when they needed to. It's over, I'm afraid. Yeah,
that's the deny on the touch.
And SSG know it. They know that they are going to be weak on this round, but the reason you still pick this map is because you know you have a high likelihood of winning Control Center. You just got to get past Night Market. However, despite a high likelihood of winning Control Center, it's not guaranteed. You can still make mistakes. You can still do things wrong here. And if Space Station lose on Control Center, that would be one of the most brutal losses for Space Station, because considering this is their map choice, this is map 6, elimination, entry into the top 4, this is favored for them. If they can't win where they are favored, it speaks way too much in terms of the volumes of SSG and where they lacked. So they got to get this done. They got to get this done if you want to see the map 7 and just a little bit more time. You want to keep you on your toes if you're in the audience right now in Riyadh, because the final round has to wait just a little bit longer. A lot of question marks in terms of what is going to happen. Number one, does Hardy actually lock in the Rhine? Note, there is no sim. But the other question is, do you need sim? In my opinion, you can definitely play the Rhine on Control Center without the sim. Lucio is available. So, they can lock that in. But then what does Fearless do? What is ZETA's plan for this map? Because Fearless's strengths are on the dive heroes. I think Winston is probably going to be a little bit weaker here. I think Ball is definitely going to be a lot weaker here. Does he go back over towards the Orisa? Can he copy Smurf from last year's Toronto, Boston Uprising, where Smurf on the Orisa essentially just beat Hardy into the ground in the Orisa versus Ryan matchup? But that was like 8-9 months ago. Patches have changed since then. We're in a different meta right now. The options for Fearless are very limited. If he goes Ram, you don't favor necessarily the Ram into Hardy's, whatever Hardy wants to play. The other issue is, even if Fearless goes towards a Brawl tank, are ZETA prepared as a team to play that? Because we've seen Korean teams falter. That's part of the weakness. They're less practice. Fnatic, they went the Rhine. Yesterday versus Ents, Midtown, but they failed the execution. They couldn't play the Rhine composition, and they lost. ZETA, how practiced are they on any of the Brawl comps, as they right now are still just hovering over heroes? If Fearless locks the ball here, I'm concerned for ZETA Division, but it seems like they are, and it seems like Hardy has also predicted that that is going to be the case. So, no Rhine, it will be Malga, and here it is, the third and final round of Lijiang.
It all comes down to this, ZETA, an opportunity to bring this series to a conclusion. Otherwise, Space Station taking us to a Game 7. It'll be our first one here in the playoffs. As for now, opening shots coming through. Some damage being rained across ZETA Division, looking for that opening cap. Hottie going to be moving forward. Pile driver going to be coming down, but he instantly gets topped back up as far as the HP is CERN and Violet gonna get taken down, but Landon traded out. 1-for-1 here on the supports. Sparker down to a sliver of HP somewhere off screen, trying to stay alive. Looks like he is gonna be able to do so. Gets his way over onto the Mega Pack. Manages to snatch that one up. Fearless getting bogged just a bit. For now, though, the cap not coming through. Hottie turns his sights back over onto the point, trying to take down Alpha Yi, but just cannot do so now. Needs to evacuate. Down to 70 HP, tucks back behind the pillar, but Flora able to pursue. Finds the elimination, nearly gets that pulse bomb online.
And just no healing, but even if Hardy was healed up, that would have been the point for Zeta regardless. Hardy was just far too low. Alpha E has limited ability to play this map on the far. He has to mostly play on the coast side, outside. But now that the cap has come on through, Alpha E can actually play the cap itself. He can abuse the high ground, just that one little tiny bit of high ground.
Oh, pulse bump from Flora, gonna go wide, cannot find that stick. Psycho, can he be the difference maker is gonna be the question. Consider rush out here from Finn. Fearless gonna be stunned up, Violet down low on HP, but that sound barrier nearly there for him. Needs to try to survive as Funny Astros pulled the trigger on his shielding. Fearless pops his own shield, sound barrier now layered in on top of it, keeping everybody alive here for the moment. So far, Zeta Division maintaining control. Fearless with a corner, looking for that kill. Goes low, grabs the Mega Pack, keeps himself right back into the fight. Barrage nearly online, but Violet going to be taken out. Pulse climb in, and Fearless eliminated. Huge there from Psycho. Breaks things open. 46% for Zeta, but the flip in the favor of SSG.
Yeah, it costs a lot for Space Station, but you need to get the points now. You need to get that percentage rocking up because you still have a big victory condition. Looks over towards Hardy. Has the cage available. Again, looking for Fearless. Flora would be ideal as well. You're not going to catch Alpha E. He is the hidden factor here. Alpha E can swing in, go for the barrage, and that will kill Hardy very quickly. Landon needs to save Suzu for a moment like that. They have to have read that the barrage is coming. You got to note here.
Direct hit on the Funny Astro takes him down low, but kill cannot be found. No one there for the follow-up. Just pot shots widely here from this Pharah. As Alpha E going to be assessing, trying to figure out when the best time for this barrage is going to be. Swings around the back. Says, no, not this moment. Opts to wait. Kitsune Rush going to be coming through here from the side of Landon. Sparker taken down as Alpha E able to find that kill, but Violet gone. 2-for-1 trade up in favor of Space Station Gaming.
He just couldn't find the right angle for the barrage. Again, his primary target probably should be Hardy, if not the backline, or whoever he goes for. If the Suzu comes out, it's problematic. Now Alpha E dies. He has to reset. The retaking here for the fire is not clean. So again, he probably has to play coast. And most what Alpha E is doing is just spamming. He's spamming rockets long range. If you want to get a successful barrage, you have to go in deep. And again, he hasn't found the opportunity.
Dead. A full reset not really being found. The opportunity not being given over to them. Space Station.
Look at this.
Continue to just find these picks.
The time buy is important because Funny Astro needs beat. Finn's going to drop in this Kitsune Rush. And if Funny Astro doesn't have sound barrier, they'll lose. So that one kill, that one reset, gives Funny Astro now the sound barrier to play through.
Not only that, but also 80%. Sparker, however, taking down Flora. This time, the pulse bomb does not whiff. Finds that kill, but they need to hit the go button because right now, Space Station close to hitting 90%. It's only 46.
Funny Astro might
starting position here for Zeta Division. Kitsune Rush going to be coming in. Landon going to be taken down and widely. Space Station are going to have to give this one up. Funny Astro realizing that it's over, cannot go for that beat. They have to surrender the fight before they get up to 99.
I think they're making the economical play. He didn't want to actually go for that because Space Station likely probably didn't want to go for a retake off the beat. I think they probably could have, but this play means the Zeta Division burn a Kitsune Rush for one fight win, and Space Station are happy to go for one fight retake, throw everything into the mix, cage, bob, sound barrier, and just win it from there. But Alpha E, once again, I think that's the X factor. If somebody just dies to a barrage or to a rocket, Zeta can turn this one around. They can win it from here as well.
Flip being threatened, Finn as well here. Hound in the back line, nearly taken down. Has the TP, low. That's going to be the beat now invested. But now they need to try to find fights here off the backside. 80% going to be coming through. The cage going to be slapped down. Sound barriers in the flip in their favor. The touch having to come through. The contest is there. Overtime going to be forced out. Funny Astro down low. Bob in play. It all comes down to this. Zeta Division desperately needing this flipped Dynamite, holding them at bay for the moment. Alpha E down to half HP. Seeking stability, the flip being threatened. Hottie into the corner, going to be blown to smithereens. The barrage coming through, finds the elimination. Fearless similarly though, tagged up. Mega Pack not available. Sparker taken down. Violet finding that kill, saves them here, gets them the flip.
One more reset. Like I said, it's Alpha E. That one barrage really saves the day. If Hardy survives, it's a different story, but he didn't catch him on the cage. Hardy missed the cage.
Finn as well, about to have
Landon?
ready to go.
Get in there.
Sparker swapping over the Venture to come through. We're going to have a little bit more oomph, but this is for everything. The touch going to be forced out. Overtime now, starting to bleed down. Hottie
also is Kitsune
leading the charge. Rush for rush here on either side. Flora, maybe the X factor here, but Violent similarly close to having that beat online. Sparker down so very low. Pulse bomb at the ready. Flora sends it, gets the connection, but no. Susie going to be coming through. Able to cleanse it down. 70 HP. He recalls out. Beat comes through. Violent keeping him alive. Funny Astro dead. Cannot get the sound barrier. The cleanup coming in. Supportless now. Tank gone on the side of Zeta Division. But Hadi about to be eliminated. Dead. Sparker. That's all he can get. Zeta Division. They see the words of Psycho in the chat. They say you're not gonna win. You can't make it happen in Zeta. They prove them wrong. They take it down. Map 7 denied away 4-2. Zeta Division keep themselves in the tournament and move into the semifinals.
So close for map 7 here. SSG had the capability towards the end. I truly believe it. But the cage misses from Hadi. And a couple of decisions there where they didn't want to fight. With one sound barrier play, they wanted to wait towards the end, let the retakes happen. Okay, that's fine. They can still make that play happen, but once push comes to shove, Landon's Kitsune